sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio, it is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Welcome in. I'm AJ Hoffman. He is Rob Thompson. It ain't Monday anymore, Rob.
I'm not sure you're AJ Hoffman.
Why?
Because according to my YouTube feed, which everyone is probably watching as we speak, and if you're not, you need to go there directly, because it appears you're S.A. Brahma's running back, John Lovett. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if he would be happy or upset with the fact that
I don't even.
He would.
John Lovett plays running back for the
acting, and it's S.A. Brahma's running back, John Lovett, right there on my screen.
I don't know. Well, I'll be damned. I bet they're you know why they're confused? I got a beard trimmer yesterday.
You do look good. I didn't want to bring that up, but I noticed the wife came to town, and you cleaned yourself up just a little bit.
Well, it's that's unrelated, but I mean, it's all about Amazon's delivery schedule. But I did not have a beard trimmer with me here, so I've been my flow's been growing for the last couple weeks.
Did you spring for the good one? I hope
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the Panasonic with the
nice.
I didn't want to carry around a bunch of guards, so it's like the click to it's very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Well, it's when you travel and you leave one of your things that you rely on. That's those little things that when you upgrade, you get a new one that you use on the regular.
Here's the thing, and this is what's really important to me about a beard trimmer. I am 43 years old, and today I probably look about 43 years old.
Yeah, you do look. You look good.
But when I don't trim my beard, my beard is as gray as Rob's.
I've been going gray since I was 25.
So I'm bald. I've got a gray beard. I look like I'm in my mid 50s.
It does. You do look younger without the beard. There's no question.
It's the only way for me to even look remotely close to my actual age is to have my beard knocked down. And my wife is like, well, she doesn't care. She likes it. Yeah. I've got more salt than pepper now, but she doesn't seem to mind.
You ever considered a little chemical?
Well, that's what she said.
Additive, little something.
She's like, if you're vain about it, why don't you just get something to kind of comb in or whatever? But the problem is, I'm not the kind of guy who's going to do that regularly.
Exactly.
So what it's going to end up looking like is like I've got frosted tips on my beard. So
it's kind of a Vegas-y thing anyway, right?
I don't know if I think that's probably worse. So,
not probably.
Yeah. So I just I tell her, listen, it is what it is.
You look good. I can tell you, as I'd only known you as a bearded guy. You can pass. You could go either way.
Okay.
You're bifacial.
Do you mean go either way, as in
you're
like
bifacial?
Dudes or chicks?
No,
would
I'm
be
just saying
this?
you're bifacial.
Okay.
You could swing either direction. Yeah. And be successful either way.
I think so, because yesterday I would have been considered a bear, and today I don't know what they call it.
You're not a twink anymore, young man.
Well, I'm far too big for that. Like it's those
are down roads.
Yeah, those are smaller fellas. But yeah,
you look good, man. Well, I appreciate the fact, because those of us who have a beard know how important the trimming implement really is.
If I don't know, I guess if I was like a mountain man who didn't leave the house, I would just let it grow out, and I would trim my mustache, because I don't like when my mustache to get in my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But I
ever considered the waxy?
My brother has that.
Does he?
Yeah.
Respect.
I saw him.
That's upkeep right there.
I saw him this weekend, and he walked in like looking like Wyatt Earp. So that's how we're doing it now, huh?
Does he have to twirl that stuff around? That's old school.
He's got the it's like kind of flipped up on the sides. I'm like, oh, all right,
whatever floats your boat, man.
whatever makes you happy.
Somebody finds that very, very attractive.
I guess so.
And so go with it.
I guess. And my wife was like, "What are you doing with your hair?" And he's like, "I've had the same haircut for 30 years. I thought I'd switch it up a little."
What do you do?
And, I mean, he just grew his hair out, like and she's.
I'm liking this cat already.
Yeah, so he's got his hair's longer. He's got a twirled up mustache. It's
not bound by convention at all.
Yeah. And Rudolph says AJ looks like the guy that used to host Headbangers
You do. You know,
Ball on
know who
TV.
we're talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But but the thing is, AJ's not as the camera
rounder.
adds some pounds.
Yeah.
You're not built like that cat.
I'm more stretched out. I probably weigh more than him, but
that guy was kind of roundish.
Yeah, he was rounder.
I get from the neck up. I see a little bit of that.
But he doesn't even know what Headbangers Ball.
No kidding.
I'm a rocker through and through, man. Rocker.
But you didn't get to experience the Headbangers Ball.
Not in its heyday. So no, but I've been around. I've been around a little. I've
seen things.
I was around when MTV played music, man. Like
the good days.
Yeah, the good old days. Like even before TRL, before Carson Daly took over MTV. I was around when I used to spend 12 minutes of my day watching Guns N' Roses November Rain.
That's
How about
right.
that?
And they would tell us it's coming in 30 minutes.
That's right.
And we'd schedule our morning around it.
I'm old enough that I may have handled business with videos with Alicia Silverstone in them. How about that?
She had a real pretty mouth.
How about that, Rudolph? What, you ever done that? I didn't think so. But when you're 11 years old, you gotta work with what you got.
It's morning sprots, Chuck.
Morning sprots.
See, it's not quite sports, but it's sprots.
Morning sports.
Sprots.
John Lovett apparently was in studio yesterday.
He's a running back, so we've been told.
Along
with the head coach of your
Wade was in here.
Wade Phillips was here.
Well, AJ, good job trimming the beard.
Imagine him in your helmet in a huddle. You're in a huddle, and your head coach is calling in a play. There's 2 minutes to go. You're down by 5. Need a touchdown to win it. You're on the 30-yard line, and the clock is ticking. The crowd is loud, and your coach in your ears.
And you know that communication device shuts off at like when the play clock hits 10.
You're like, coach.
And he's like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're going, bro. All right, go deep. Everybody go left, and then we're gonna do a shotgun. I don't know why they call it a shotgun.
Coach, I'm not getting anything. It's a wide receiver, football hot dogs.
And then in the post game, he's like, "Yeah, well, I'd like my quarterback to make better decisions in that moment with the football." And then the quarterback's sitting there like, "What the hell, man?
I don't know, man.
Semaphore in my ear.
Send me something." Deep third down.
Interception becoming a problem.
No, we love Coach. We love the Brahmas. The UFL, they are successful. The Brahmas are playoff bound.
Are they the favorites to win?
I would think so with that.
Let's pull up the odds, Vic. Let's pull up the UFL betting odds and see who the favorite is to win the league.
At 8:30, we're going to make you some money on the UFL.
No, probably not.
Man,
I would have to.
We can tease it forward. You never know.
I think I would have to at least have seen a single game at some point.
That's sad that and I'm not poking fun, but for guys who've been around San Antonio for a minute or two, you know how many football teams I've seen come and go.
You're not gonna.
You're gonna have to stay here
buying
for
it. Here's the thing: if you're buying Brahma's gear, be careful.
And I get it. There's a cadre of San Antonians that will jump on. And I love, thank God for them.
Houston did it with the Roughnecks. It's like, oh, we got the Roughnecks. I'm like, we got them for this year.
But I promise you, every one of the guys that is down as part of the fan club for the Brahmas have 5 other jerseys. And, the next team that shows up, hey, get the mailing list. Let's get the guys. And they'll get those guys in. And let's hope it hangs on. I want it to. But I'm like the guy who I lived in a life prior to the online dating toward swiping right and left. But I'm like the guy who cannot find the date in San Antonio. No matter what they choose, it's the wrong one.
Yeah.
It's not going to last. We'll be used and abused and forgotten about. So forgive me if I hold out, but playoff bound, man. They're coming.
Here's the updated odds. Vic is struggling. Yeah, that's all right, Vic. Oh, he's listening to something else. The Birmingham Stallions are your favorites, minus 155.
That seems to be consistent.
The St. Louis Battlehawks are your second favorite at plus 235. The San Antonio Brahmas, 8-1
That's
to
not
win the
bad.
title. And the Michigan Panthers, 9-1. 8-1's pretty long shot when there's only 4 teams left.
Hey, man, you're saying there's a chance.
It's Birmingham. They must be a force.
It seems like whatever league we're in, we're always having to deal with Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't the Battlehawks? I think they were good in the XFL. I think they're divided up into an XFL division and a USFL.
Really?
I'm not really sure how it works, but I think that's what they did is because the 2 leagues merged and they put them in one conference and the other, and now it's like
kind of like what they did with the NFL with AFC and FC.
Yes,
that's a great idea.
Although much like the Headbangers Ball, I wasn't around when they did that.
Oh.
But here I was here for this. But yeah, it looks like the Birmingham Stallions are odds-on favorites, minus 155 to be the champions. Listen, just because I haven't seen a Brahmas game doesn't mean I don't want them to win.
Yeah.
If they're going to be here, I want them to win. If they're from Texas and not from Dallas, I'm cheering for them. You know, that's just the way it goes, baby.
Enemy of my enemy's friend. So.
That's the way I look at it. So yeah, count me. I'm all in on the Brahmas. I'm just not buying any gear because
we're gonna, let's have some hold on.
I'm worried.
It's gonna be,
I'm worried.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've lost. I mean, you get burned so many times, and God bless, like I said, that fan crew of the Brahmas, and you know who there's several guys out there that are great listeners of the show that have done so much to keep these guys, the lifeblood of the undercurrent of sports fans. They're here to kind of buy the ticket to cheer on what is San Antonio, and
no, there's something to be said for that, man.
Does, no, it absolutely matters. They might not realize what it does on the grand scheme, but now it's those guys that keep these things around.
Yeah, because here's the thing though: if you guys would have supported the Silver Stars, you'd have the best WNBA team in the whole wide world.
That team would have won titles. But
did they play in the same building as the Spurs?
They did.
It probably would have been better to have them in a small building that was easier to be accessed.
Yeah, it was just, every WNBA team for a while had its cult following, and no matter what size of building you'd had, it was going to be that.
Just put them in like a high school gym downtown.
What happened with this is the Spurs got hoodwinked by the MLS. And when soccer is a mafia sport, there's an undercurrent of just thievery and it just feels like slimy business. And we got involved with the MLS, and the SS&E divested themselves of the Stars.
Want an MLS team?
Seriously,
I can bring you an MLS team.
And then that's kind of what happened. We let them go, and we developed up there. And then Austin didn't form a new team. We got a team transferred, and they said, well, since the team transferred, you don't get a team. And then we were high and dry with nothing, and a stadium and no WNBA team.
Well, that's garbage.
Sucks.
So you lost it all.
We lost it all, and Becky goes to Vegas and wins the title.
Wins 2 titles.
Yeah, and then we
probably a third one unless Caitlin has something to say about it. Who, by the way, cost me some money again yesterday. My Caitlin hate is coming back to bite me.
She's a B. Karma's a B. And when you start gambling with karmic undertones, like it just that's when it comes back to get you, man. So trust me, I know.
Now I'm 2-2 betting against Caitlin, at least on the spread, but like I've bet against her money line every game too. And yesterday it was only minus 250 or something like that. So I got a little in.
So are we gonna red letter the day that you
did I stop betting against Caitlin?
Yeah, you start taking her for the over.
I mean, honestly, had she lost these first 4, I might be interested, but now she's won 2 in a row. What am I gonna do? Back her?
You might have to, man.
That's a square ball play right there. I gotta. Now's the time to, if anything, double down on my hate.
Your hatred moves the market.
That's how you do it, baby. I'm gonna start betting on Cameron Brink.
Yes, we're big fans of Cameron Brink.
Yeah, she works out.
Mm-hmm.
Got a good player.
Hook shot.
Good player. As she threw at her and I think it was, I don't know how to say her first name. I'm going to try to butcher it. Miss Jackson threw out the first pitch in the Dodgers game yesterday. And we had a conversation because I said, I bet if Caitlin Clark looked like that Cameron Brink, I mean, the WNBA would be bigger than, they'd be bigger than baseball right now.
We can't.
You
market
said
that
you
way.
disagree.
No, they can't market that way
Why not?
because this is about the beauty of sport and not the beauty.
What?
We can't do that yet.
Even listen, I'm saying this in a totally hetero way.
Mhm.
Even handsome sports players, athletes are more popular than ugly ones.
Absolutely.
No one wants an ugly, like no one wants a poster of an ugly dude on their wall. I remember it was like I'm trying to think of ugly athletes who have made it big.
Oh, ever take a good look at Robert Parrish?
Oh yeah, but he was what, the fourth most popular player on his team.
I'm just saying, there's dudes that are frightening.
Take
a square look at Jaja.
But remember when Mark McGuire, when
white.
Mark McGuire was blowing up, and Mark McGuire was not a handsome
and
fella.
When he had the roid acne going on.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just like this one color of red. Everything about him was red.
Alleged roid acne. I don't think it's been proven.
Yeah, back zits the size of golf balls. No, you're fine.
Yeah, allegedly.
When your zits are bigger than your nuts, you're probably roiding out.
Maybe so. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about wide receivers who are not showing up for work. Unlike Rob and I, who show up for work every day, ready to go, these wide receivers are like, maybe not me. We'll talk about that on the other side, including CeeDee Lamb. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 FM.
Spring has sprung and it's full tilt boogie time at GiveMeTheVin.com. I'm overpaying for cars because I think they're going to go up even higher from where they are right now. We'll pay off your payoff. We'll pick your stuff up. We'll quote you quick and easy at GiveMeTheVin.com. America's best car buyer. Go there right now, and if I don't beat a CarMax offer, I'll send you a check for $100.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Testosterone levels in men can start to decrease as early as 30 years old, and long-term health risks can be extremely damaging to your body. Rock's Discount Vitamins carries a variety of natural testosterone boosters that can immediately provide you with more energy, increased libido, increased metabolism, and improve your mood. Rock's Discount Vitamins natural testosterone boosters can even help you build muscle and lose weight faster. With 11 San Antonio locations, visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. Thanking God and South Texas for all the support.
With Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot, you can give your lawn or garden beds a pop of color and protection. Right now, get a special buy on Scott's Earth Grow Mulch, 5 bags for just $10. Help your soil retain moisture longer with color that lasts up to 12 months. Shop Memorial Day savings for a special buy on Scott's Earth Grow Mulch. 5 bags for just $10 at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. From high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone, including blackjack tournaments. From the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, the Big Blind is locally owned and operated, offering daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 and Redland Road.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
We're here with Jose Rios, attorney at the Gomez Law Firm. If you are injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, Jose, what's the first thing our listeners should do?
The first thing they should do is pick up the phone, call the Gomez Law Firm, or Google joegomezlaw.com.
Gomez Law has been protecting the people of our community for almost 50 years. They're the leader in personal injury law.
We do ride-sharing cases, we do carbon monoxide cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries.
But that's not all your firm does, Jose. Tell us a little more about other cases Gomez Law takes on and wins here in Texas.
Really, anything that involves a personal injury and a third party that is responsible for causing that injury, we will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. You know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace.
If you've put off replacing windows because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door.
Just text BUY to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year.
That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month.
Text BUY to 200-300 right now. Text the word BUY to 200-300. Don't wait. Text BUY to 200-300.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Bam! I thought this was a rotator. I thought we couldn't get this. Man, y'all lied to me. Play, and then it ends.
Called the suits.
Man, we gotta extend this thing. Like, it's just crazy that it ends like that. It's ridiculous. Rudolph, I think he's saying Nikola Jokic is ugly. I don't think so. He's goofy looking, but he's not ugly.
His head is a little bit too small for his body.
Well, he's got a giant body.
Well, there's that. But I'm just
like,
saying,
how big do you want his head to be?
Well, I don't want
you can't have a head like Kendrick Perkins.
No, the biggest head on the planet is quarterback for the Denver Broncos. That dude.
Which one?
The USC kid, Sam.
Sam Darnold.
Darnold. It's like
He's
an orange on a toothpick. Oh, that's Minnesota. Darnold has the largest head of any human being I've ever seen.
You ever? I used to, when Sam Darnold was at USC, I called him Wreck-It Ralph. You ever seen that cartoon?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think Sam Darnold looks just like Wreck-It
Got
Ralph.
a giant melon, huge, too big for his body.
Anybody who doesn't understand that reference, just Google Wreck-It Ralph. And look at that guy.
And it's like a
You're gonna
caricature. His head is too big for his body on
That's-
Wreck-It Ralph, and that's Sam Darnold. They had to order special to find a helmet.
He does
that
have
would
a
fit.
big ass head.
You
man.
should see the size of his pillow.
I feel like Kendrick Perkins has a giant head, and for whatever
And then the
reason,
beard makes it like
the way ESPN shoots him, it's like it's only his head.
it's like an Easter Island
like
statue.
they don't want you to see what's behind him. I don't know, but like if you've got a head that big, you'd think they'd back off a little bit, but it's like your head can't even take up the whole screen like his does. It's not physically possible because you have a normal sized human head.
I don't know if it's normal. It's not Cro-Magnon.
I mean,
some of those.
Kendrick Perkins is like a T-Rex. Like it's literally like his head is the size of a Volkswagen, and his body's
body.
He does have a big body. You'll never know it because you won't see it because all you can see is his head.
Where does his head begin and Perkins begin? Or whatever the commercial.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the wide receiver market as it stands today, because we've got some fellas who just decided, I ain't showing up for work, not for this money. And on that list is Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. I'll ask you this. You're closer to the Cowboys than I am. Where's CeeDee Lamb regarded in your mind in like the hierarchy of NFL wide receivers? Where's he fit in?
He's in the upper echelon. He's in the top, the elite of he's not the best, but he's in the conversation. He's not Jamar Chase, he's not Jefferson, but he's there. He's close.
Okay. So we'll go top 10 is very safe.
I think that's
to
a
say.
very relevant place to put him. And I think most like minds would agree with that.
Okay. I tend to agree. I'm not sure. I think CD understands why he hasn't been paid yet, because the Cowboys are in a tricky situation because they've got 3 guys that they need to get money to. And until they get one figured out, it's going to be hard to take care of the rest. And the truth is, once Dak gets figured out, if he's figured out the way Dak hope he's figured out, one of these other 2 guys is probably gone.
I'm curious, in your mind, when you think of the Dallas Cowboys and you list the talent, like this is the reason the Cowboys are good, and you name the guys, where do you put CD and Micah and Dak? What's your hierarchy of importance or talent?
Now, that's a tricky question. The truth is, the quarterback's always the most important.
Yeah, and I should separate that. I'm away from Dak. But when you think of the Cowboys and Micah on the defense, and certainly he's the face there, and apart from Dak being the face of the offense, CD is,
he is. Now, and here's the thing. Like, if you say relative to the league, like CD and Micah Parsons are much more important than Dak is.
Absolutely.
Like, Dak is he's a solid but unspectacular quarterback.
But
CD and Micah Parsons are special players. I think, to me, Micah Parsons is the most unique of these talents. You don't find guys like him laying around. I think the Cowboys were lucky they got Micah Parsons when they did. I think it reminds me of when the Texans got J.J. Watt, and you get a guy like that, and you find a way to keep them happy, because those types of players are the hardest to find.
I appreciate that perspective. I agree with you. I think Cowboy fan gets lost in, Micah is open and he's out there and he does the podcast and he says some things that are contrary, but the value to the team in both on the field and in the locker room, you can't even measure.
Can you ball? And at the end of the day, there's a lot fewer Micah Parsons than there are Dak Prescott's or CeeDee Lamb's. All right, we're going to hit a break. When we come back, I apologize. I got off on a tangent. I don't even remember what it was about. Something stupid, I'm sure. But we'll actually get more into this wide receiver conversation on the other side. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, it is a big day for the Dallas Cowboys. The first voluntary OTAs. Is CD going to be there?
We'll talk about that with Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk as she joined us at 5:15. Plus, we'll get you ready for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind. There at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-439-4252. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-439-4252. That's 800-439-4252. Again, 800-439-4252.
With Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal, you can get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin with small seasoned potatoes.
And with all that for just $3, it really is a proper breakfast, wouldn't you say? Huh? With a light and fluffy toasted English muffin and crispy seasoned potatoes. Go on, Catherine, give it a go.
Okay. Jolly good morning.
Ah, close love. Grab a proper breakfast with Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal for a limited time.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Select a request English muffin deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders. Single item at regular price. Prices are higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Memorial Day deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, save big on Scott's Naturescapes mulch. Get 5 bags for just $10. And there's more. Get up to 40% off. Plus, save an extra $50 on every $500 you spend on select major appliances. These deals are selling fast, so start shopping now. Lowe's knows summer savings. Valid through 5/29. Mulch excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Appliance savings vary based on purchase. See Lowe's.com for details. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
This is the absolute worst time of year to be dealing with joint pain. You can't do the outdoor stuff that you love to do, like golfing, hiking, biking, jogging, playing on the beach. Hey, it's James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star. Listen, don't go through the summer missing out on life. Call QC Kinetics now and find out how they can use biologics from your own body to give new life to your achy joints, like your knees, hips, back, shoulders. QC's regenerative medicine protocols can restore and repair that damaged tissue with no surgery, no steroids, no drugs, and best of all, no downtime. This is the future of medicine. Tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients around the country are living their best life this year because they made the call. QC medical professionals are under the direction of Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, who is an orthopedic surgeon who became the future pioneer in regenerative medicine. He knew there had to be a better way. So call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
The Magical Orlando Family Vacation Contest is a company-wide contest for your chance to win 4 tickets to Disney World. No purchase necessary to enter or win. One winner will be chosen at the end of the contest. Contest is only open to U.S. residents 18 years or older. Contest is sponsored by participating Alpha Media stations, audience or their parent, subsidiary, and affiliate entities, Alpha or audience employees, advertising agencies, promotional partners, and members of families or households are not eligible to enter or win. Odds of winning depend on the number of entries received. Contest is subject to all applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations. Void where prohibited. Participants must sign all contest, release, and waiver forms to be eligible to win the prize. The contest begins Monday, May 20th and runs through Friday, June 7th. To enter, you must fill out the designated form on our website at sasportstar.com. Contest sponsors are not responsible for technical failures or malfunctions of any kind. For full contest rules, please visit sasportstar.com. Decisions of station management with respect to the contest are final.
With Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot, you can give your lawn or garden beds a pop of color and protection. Right now, get a special buy on Scott's Earth Grow Mulch, 5 bags for just $10. Help your soil retain moisture longer with color that lasts up to 12 months. Shop Memorial Day savings for a special buy on Scott's Earth Grow mulch. 5 bags for just $10 at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
The NFL lives right here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. AJ Hoffman, Rob Thompson, getting you through your morning on a Tuesday. Hey, at least it ain't Monday, right?
We just try to make sure your week doesn't suck.
Yeah, yesterday probably sucked. I'm not going to lie. Yesterday sucked for me, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it was Monday.
Yeah, it was Monday. Tuesday's a little better. Tomorrow.
I think there's a Cure song.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
I think
Wednesday,
you're right.
And then Friday.
Yeah.
I'm in love.
I'm in love. I think that is how that song goes. What a tune. What a tune.
we digress.
Yeah, we digress. I don't want to fall back down that path. What's your favorite Cure song? Do you like the Cure? Is it weird to like the Cure? I don't know.
Am I allowed to?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about the Cure.
What's in his hair?
But we were talking about the wide receivers who are holding out, and it's not just CeeDee Lamb. And I say holding out, they're skipping OTAs.
Yeah.
That's not exactly holding out per se. But it's not showing up for work, certainly either. T. Higgins also missing OTAs, and Justin Jefferson has not shown up yet for OTAs. This is interesting because we've talked about it with quotes. Who's next? And I could see it getting into a scenario where it's all a standoff of who gets paid first, and then what's the next guy want to make, and does this guy think he deserves more than this guy? And when you talk about Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, these are the top of the top guys. What order do they get paid in? And if I'm the Cowboys, I understand this, and I want to get it done as soon as possible. Just like I'd love to get Dak done before Trevor Lawrence gets done or Tua gets done. Because Dak, for whatever you think of Dak, Dak's accomplished more in the league than Tua or Trevor Lawrence has. Now, you can also argue the other side of that coin and say, well, Trevor and Tua still have untapped potential that maybe Dak doesn't. I see both sides of it, sure. But what you do know is the longer you wait, the more you pay. And we were talking about Micah Parsons, and he's going to have to get his money. The thing is, if Micah Parsons is indeed the most important Cowboy to pay, you pay him the soonest, right? And then, but then it becomes, to me, the best case scenario, and this sounds crazy, is you get to a point where Jerry looks himself in the mirror and says, I can't afford to pay Dak Prescott what he's asking for. From a salary cap standpoint, it doesn't make sense. And we may have to eat some bleep on it, but we're going to move on from him.
You get the sense that it's coming, though they can't do it immediately.
No.
So they're going to have to sign something short for a couple years. Lamb's going to make $18 million this year on the 5th year of his deal. And is eligible to be franchised. So CD, the Cowboys have a card to play with all these guys.
Except Dak,
who has signed a contract, who has a no trade, no franchise deal. And franchising CeeDee Lamb right now and trying to do the math, you're coming up to, I don't know, you're going to be in the $25 million a year range. Highest paid's getting 32, 30, 30, 28, 26. So we're looking at $27 million. To pay, that's what you got to pay to play to keep a wide receiver, to get that average of the top 5. Now, I'm looking at the list. Do you want to quantify wide receivers by how they get paid or by their value to the team? Because A.J. Brown is the highest paid wide receiver in all of football. But I would say he's not the most important. You know what I mean? So how do we – because I think CD is more important to his offense than even A.J. Brown is
here's
to
why.
the Eagles.
Because the Eagles have a Devontae Smith.
Right, and the Cowboys don't.
Tyreek Hill is very important, but Jalen Waddle's pretty good.
Cooper Kupp's got a guy on the other side.
Now he does for sure, yeah. But I would argue up until last year, Stephon Diggs was in that conversation of like, well, it's him and not a whole lot of nothing.
So do you pay a lot to CD, which you're going to have to, or do you defray the cost and pay a whole bunch to somebody else? And I do think in this day and age, as important as Micah is to the defense and to the team, CD might be even more important than that. And it's hard for me to fathom that because I watched the great quarterbacks do it with great wide receivers and without. It didn't matter.
This is the problem. And like I started this segment by saying, if Micah Parsons is the most important, you want to get him done first. But the truth is you just can't. And the truth is you can't really do Lamb before you take care of Dak. And the way this works is the Cowboys have less than $2 million in cap space right now.
As we said.
You know how you get more cap space, and this sounds crazy. You re-sign Dak and you open up some cap space. It's just they're in a lose-lose situation because obviously you want to do whatever you can to keep these other guys, but the only way to keep them
is to keep the guy you don't want
around. Yeah. And the truth is, I mean, Micah Parsons still has 2 years left on his rookie deal. Like you can keep him and he can be frustrated, and I get it.
But when a frustrated Micah Parsons is a problem. You know what I mean? In the locker room, on his podcast, and all the things that they've allowed him to do when he was happy Micah. An angry Micah will have the same platform.
Yeah. And then you mentioned CD, who after this season you can get into franchising, which isn't ideal. The problem with Dak, you don't have any of those options. There's no tag, there's no trading. It's pay him or let him walk away and still pay him. It's a lose-lose situation if you want to move on from Dak. But it seems like there's I don't know. Let me ask you, if I put a date on it and I said August 1st, is Dak Prescott signed to a new deal? But you taking over under?
I'm going to give you the date.
Okay.
July the 29th. Dak Prescott will get a new contract. That's his birthday. You think it's a joke.
That seems like a Jerry thing to do.
It's training camp. All the eyes of the world are on there at Oxnard. I've seen it happen before. I would expect when the spotlight is the brightest, when the Cowboys are at Oxnard, when Jerry needs a little bit of something, look what I brung you, look at where we're going, Dak will get a 2-year, 55 to 60 million, guaranteed 120 million deal that will signify the end of the Cowboy era with Dak, which will be 3 years from now. He'll sign an extension. He'll be a quarterback for the Cowboys for at least 2 more, with that last year might be some way for them to get out of it. But it'll be celebrated as a huge accomplishment. Dak got his money, but it's really what I believe it will signify the beginning of the end of the Dak era when he gets a short-term, get rid of the money fast and get Micah and CD signed kind of a contract.
Well, again, I know Jerry has his way of doing things, and I know he wants to let that money earn while he's got it. But
so to answer your question, July 29th, I'm taking the before.
Okay. If I'm Jerry, I'm hoping that is before Trevor Lawrence signs. I'm hoping that is before Jordan Love signs.
It won't be.
I'm hoping that's before Tua signs.
No, he's going to pay for it, but he's going to wait.
I mean, it's just tough to figure. But again, all of this points back to what you do with these wide receivers. This receiver market is fascinating.
It is.
And it seems to me like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, who are kind of the gold standard at wide receiver, one of them is going to sign a mega contract this year. And you just said CD's not those guys, but he's right. He's the next group. And I agree. I think that's the top two guys. I think Diggs was in that conversation. I think last year you saw him kind of decline out of it. But to me, Jefferson and Chase are the top two wide receivers in the league. And Chase just became he just got extension eligible. So he's a year behind. So maybe less likely to sign than Jefferson, who's already sitting out of OTAs. But once that guy signs, whichever of them signs first is going to be the highest paid wide receiver. And if you still haven't taken care of CD by then, even though CD isn't those guys, CD's going to get paid more than them when he gets paid.
Give you an idea. AJ Brown right now, $32 million a year. Amon-Ross St. Brown just got that brand new deal, $30 million a year at 120 total. Tyreek also at 120 total. They've got the biggest deals above Devontae, who had the biggest one at 140 million, 28 a year, right at 20 some odd, 33 million, excuse me, guaranteed. I think that's what they're going to do with CD, is guarantee him a whole bunch of money, but keep the terms shorter.
And here's the deal. Like, there's a lot of wide receivers who are going to be free agents at the end of this season.
Mm-hmm.
And so waiting on CD, even though he's, you've got the option to tag him, the price on these receivers is going up to the point where tagging him might be onerous.
We're talking 35 million by the time you tag him.
Because Keenan Allen's going to get paid after this year. Stephon Diggs is going to get paid after this year. Amari Cooper is going to get paid after this year. Mike Williams, all these guys. And it's like, once all those guys get paid, if you say, well, we're going to just pay CD the average of that, you would have been better off just signing them long-term. And then in year 4 of that contract going, oh, we're getting a good deal now because there's going to be some random ass wide receiver. Calvin Ridley will be making $100 million a year by then somehow. And I know you laugh at that, but
it's not that far away, man.
Seems like it's headed that
Tyreek
direction.
Hill will be an unrestricted free agent in 2027.
Oh my God,
that's $100 million.
It might be. All right, we got to hit a break. We're going to wrap up hour number 1. We're going to get into some NBA talk in the second hour. Talk about the Spurs, but also talk about the upcoming Eastern Conference Finals that start tonight. Rob watched a little bit of hockey last night, although his wife did not. We'll discuss that. It's Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Score a trip for 4 to Orlando's most magical theme park, including airfare and hotel. Register now to win at sanantoniosportstar.com.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you roll a Charmin Ultra Soft on the party, this is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and heavy nice. My cream is always soft, it's our party vibe. She's crushing so our chicks feel fly. So everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit. Credit for deciding while stuck in traffic to get a bachelor's degree. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. Students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. Plus, get your application fee waived through May 31st. Flexible online and hybrid classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Pack the Dome this Saturday for Hats Off to Heroes as the San Antonio Brahmas play their final home game of the season against the Birmingham Stallions. The playoff push is on for the San Antonio Brahmas, and it's a yellow out to display our support for our troops. Wear yellow, help us support our troops, and be loud for the final home game of the season. It's the Brahmas against Birmingham Saturday afternoon at 2 in the Alamo Dome. Get your tickets now at theufl.com. That's theufl.com. Vamos Brahmas!
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Nigel, what are you doing with all this stuff in the break room? It looks like a farmer's market here.
I'm changing my eating habits, embracing good quality nutrition with fresh produce.
Folks, maintaining a healthy AC system is just like maintaining a healthy diet. Let's make sure your system is clean and efficient. Nigel, that's a pretty impressive healthy salad you assembled.
Thanks, Joel. Now step back. The grease is hot.
Grease?
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number TACLA 88589E M16004.
Before you fire up that grill, make sure you get into Tri-County Meat Market. Hi, Jason Minix here. Tri-County Meat Market has everything you need. If you're thinking steaks, you want some chicken, some poppers, beef ribs, pork ribs, brisket, picanha, tri-tip. They've got it all at Tri-County Meat Market. Take advantage of their Pick 5 for $25, and Tri-County always offers a 10% discount for military and first responders. Tri-County Meat Market, 2 locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Heebner, or online at tricountymeat.com.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. If you have open roles, chances are you're feeling this too. That's why you need Robert Half. Our specialized recruiting professionals engage with our proprietary AI to connect businesses of all sizes with highly skilled talent in finance and accounting, technology, marketing and creative, legal, and administrative and customer support. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
Hormones can affect everything. Bad skin, bad hair, low energy, poor sleep, brain fogginess, libido, and weight gain. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we take a functional approach to your hormone problems. Eating right and exercise will not be beneficial without optimal hormone function. This goes for men and women. We do state-of-the-art testing to get to the root of your hormone issues and help you get well and stay well. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. We can help. 210-468-1891.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Yep. Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Rob tried to watch some hockey last night. His wife said,
Hell wasn't having it.
It ain't happening here, Bubba. Take your ass to Buffalo Wild Wings or wherever. Get not in here.
I will watch playoff basketball. I will sit through May Astros baseball, but I refuse to watch anything called a Canuck.
Damn.
I know.
That's racist as hell.
Yeah, I felt that way. I called her out for the inclusion that we like to have in the Thompson household.
Canadians are people too.
I was sent to my room.
Canadians are people
well,
too.
Kind of.
Sorry, and they're friendly people. They're hosers, but they're still people.
Flannel covered Labatt drinking. Sorry.
Yeah. Canadian beer does get you wrecked though. I'm
trying to think. Only Canadian beer I can think of is Labatt's.
Molson's.
That's it. Molson's.
Yeah. You start cracking those bad boys. You think, oh, it's just beer, but man, it's there's some states that like a Bud Light, it's different ABV by
3.2 beer.
Yeah, by state. But if you go out and have like a Molson or a Labatt or whatever, or the Moosehead,
is that still a beer?
I think so.
I hope so.
I don't know. I would assume. But
kind of craving a Molson's right now.
Well, you know what, Vic? Why don't you make a run for us?
Might have to go a little north.
Go grab a few Molson beers for us.
Get an order of poutine while you're at it.
I love poutine. I love it. You like that?
Man, anything when you could put stuff over French fries, I'm in.
Gravy
You
and
got me.
cheese curds. Oh, some people think that's gross. I love it, man. Yeah, Molson, Labatt, Red Racer was a Canadian brand. I don't know if they make that anymore.
You're convincing me that we need to have a Canadian beer fest. We'll drink east to west.
Let's do this. Let's line up 6 Canadian beers, tornado chug them all, and then have like we'll do some sort of Olympics stuff. We'll do it's a great idea, honestly.
I'm in.
And we should do it around your wife since she likes hockey so much.
Slap shot.
Hour number 2 coming up. Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding the work with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. It's the Morning Huddle, KTFM Floresville.
We all expect our home to protect everything we love. But here in Texas, we don't expect the ways water is breaking down our foundations and damaging our homes. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is shifting. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Foundation Support Specialists. Make sure your investment is protected. Get your free inspection at foundationsupportspecialists.com.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
You want another way to add excitement to watching the NBA playoffs? Jason Minix here. Let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. It is a fan favorite way to play fantasy sports, especially playing the Pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build your Pick'em entry, and all you have to do is select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. It is fantasy and it is legal in Texas. So get started by going to the easy-to-use Underdog Fantasy mobile app or go to the website underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first Pick'em entry and a deposit offer. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, sign up using my promo code STAR at underdogfantasy.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin Ultra Soft on the potty, less is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistible soft and heavy nice. My cream is always soft, it's our party vibe. So our chicks feel fly. Every booty wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit. Credit for deciding while stuck in traffic to get a bachelor's degree. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. Students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. Plus, get your application fee waived through May 31st. Flexible online and hybrid classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SHED.
Score a trip for 4 to Orlando's most magical theme park, including airfare and hotel. Register now to win at SanAntonioSportsStar.com. San Antonio Sports Center.
In the NFL, OTAs begin today, and in Dallas, CeeDee Lamb is expected to be a no-show. He's going into a contract year, and before the start of OTAs today, we expect him to sit and watch. The offseason workouts will go on all week. In the NBA, the Eastern Conference Finals begin. Boston plays host to the Indiana Pacers. Tip will be at 7 o'clock here on 94.1. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I see that Shannon Sharp heard our next day. I was like, we'll talk about the Celtics, and if the Celtics can't win it this year, is it a giant failure? Or and there's Shannon Sharp like, oh, the Celtics don't win it this year. This season's a massive failure. Son of a...
it's not stealing, it's research.
Well, I call it stealing. My mama call it stealing. I'm going to call it stealing. We'll talk about the Celtics, and it would be an absolute crumble if they don't win this year, given the expectations and given the way things have the seas have parted for the Boston Celtics, giving them a wide open path, but sometimes teams just don't take it. We've been talking NFL, and I don't want to get into wide receivers all day, but I want to ask you, outside of those 2 guys, the guys we're talking about, well, 3 guys, I guess, if you count Dak, the 3 guys we're talking, give me the Cowboys that are maybe under the radar, that are their progression this year is going to be really important to the team. Give me some guys to watch.
Mozzie Smith, first and foremost. Defensive tackle, drafted him 2 years ago, an utter failure. By every measure for your first-round draft pick, the output wasn't even close. And we knew it was going to be a work in progress, but what we expected to see just on a part-time basis, stop the run, just be a fire hydrant. And he couldn't even do that. So the expectation is he's going to have to absolutely improve. Second on the list, Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver. As we talk about CD, at some point, this is the 3rd year. This guy's going to have to do something. And, we've seen brief bits of talent, but he's going to have to show. And then Sam Williams, who has every bit of talent that you would need for the football field, but from the neck up just makes mistakes, man. So if the Cowboys, as they have put this thing together, are relying on these guys to make that next step to become NFL regulars, and if they don't, Keep in mind, they've got $2 million under the salary cap, and they've signed exactly 2 dudes. If they can't do it, then everything we're talking about, signing CD and what are we going to do about Dak? The team's going to be awful. If these 3 guys, if 2 of them don't show up, then they're done before they've even begun.
Smith reminds me a little of when the Texans drafted Amobi Okoye.
Oh,
and they were like preaching patience, like, hey man. And to be fair, Amobi Okoye was like I think he was the youngest player to play in the NFL, or he was 19 when he got drafted, which is crazy to think about, but he was a kid. But they kept saying patience, and then finally they're like, yeah, he ain't figuring it out. What's the concern level with Smith, especially at that position where, projects, it's nice if they work out, but oftentimes projects are projects for a reason. And
when every time he's brought up, you always worry about whenever you bring up somebody, an athlete, or maybe it's a friend, and the people that you're asking about that person from always go out of their way to preach something good. Like no matter what, we all know that Mozzie Smith stubbed his toe and had a terrible rookie year. We have to acknowledge that. And the Cowboys, in every way and every day, Mozzie's getting better. He couldn't have gotten worse. So when you hear, no matter what, the constant praise saying, he's getting better, tells me he ain't getting that much better. And we're hoping to prop him up until we can find the next alternative.
And by the way, speaking of guys who you keep hearing talk about, they're getting better. I want to get into Trey Lance at some point, and maybe we'll do that at 7:30. Well, first of all, we'll give away our first chance to win ACL tickets at 7:30, but then we'll get into Trey Lance because he's suddenly all over the news. I wonder if this is like a negotiation tactic with Dak, and they're like, I'm also reading, Dak's taking Trey Lance under his wing, which sounds nice, but I wonder what the Cowboys are looking at with Trey Lance, because it's one of 2 things. Either they really believe this, or they're trying to come up with some way to move him again. And I don't think you're going to get what you gave for him, just like the 49ers didn't get what they gave for him. But there is always the possibility that he's figured it out somehow, or he's starting to figure it out. I just don't believe any of it until I see it. We'll get into him later, but it sounds like a similar conversation. Like, well, it's coming. We can see the progress. We see it coming.
And I think Jerry, in the back of his mind, would, worst case scenario, if the season goes the way it very well could, 8-9, week 12, you're running 500, maybe a little under. Dak's a little banged up. Maybe we call on number 19 just to see a little something, just to stir the pot, because, at the end of the season, Dak's a free agent anyway, and we haven't done anything. I mean, maybe Jerry's holding out. I can't imagine, because I have no idea what Trey Lance is even remotely capable of doing.
I don't either.
I mean, I really don't. So you can tell me whatever you want. I'm eager to see what the preseason looks like for him, but he could be something. I just don't know, and I don't think they have any idea either. I really don't.
Yeah, we'll talk about Trey Lance later on in the show, but I worry that is like they really believe that,
and that's a bad
idea. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a bad idea.
Trevor Lawrence looks like he's set to be the next guy, Rob.
Mm-hmm. I ain't mad at it.
I'm not either. I've seen enough flashes out of Trevor that I can go, okay, he's good enough. He's much like all these other Dak and these other guys that we're talking about. He doesn't suck. So you got to pay him, right? Like that's what you do with these guys who, if they don't suck, you pay them. Hell, some of them, if they do suck, you pay them, but
considering the alternative,
if you don't suck and you got drafted number 1, you're getting a second opportunity, and that's going to be Trevor Lawrence. The question is, when are we going to start seeing what everybody thought we were going to see with Trevor Lawrence?
Is it his fault that we haven't? I mean, can we pinpoint that he hasn't made the growth? He's got, how many coaches has he had now? 2?
2.
They gave him just about every bit of talent around him you could hope for last year. The health has always been kind of an issue, but Etienne finally was running the ball. They've had wide receivers of merit, nothing that to write home about. But I think he's earned a shot. But he is so much Dak. Those two guys are so the same. And I think that because he's the next, he's going to get 53, 54. He's not going to get the max. He's not going to get Lamar money or anything like that. But it's going to be up there. And I would say if I'm Dak and his agency and I'm Jerry, I'm paying real close attention to this because I think Dak's going to come in real close to where Trevor signs. Not where Tua. I think Tua's going to get a whole bunch of money. I think Tua's about to get paid.
You think Tua's going to get more than Trevor Lawrence?
I do. I do think that Tua's going to get paid more than Trevor Lawrence.
I'm not so sure.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. No. I think most people still look at Trevor Lawrence as the bigger upside guy.
And maybe overall talent, yes, but it just feels to me that Miami has put together an offense that is Tua-centric. That without Tua, this offense and all these other parts that we brought in ain't gonna work.
You know why Trevor's more valuable than Tua is Tua's had injury woes. Like,
well, there is that.
The concussions, the knee, the wrist, whatever else. I mean, for Trevor's, I think he's missed one game in 3 years. Trevor, for whatever his flaws, he gets his ass out there and plays football. My worry with Trevor Lawrence is last year was a regression. I always say this with quarterbacks. There's two patterns that a quarterback takes. Their rookie year, they suck. And then year two, they start to figure it out. And if they don't, they probably just suck. The one exception, the guy who sucked for 2 years and then figured it out was Josh Allen. Usually by year three, like if he's not improving by year three, there's a real problem. Josh figured it out year three and has just kind of been steadily getting better since. The other way is they either are awesome year one and then year two, they regress they regress usually greatly. The league adjusts. And then year three, they either stay crappy and they wash out, or they kind of find a balance and around. Trevor Lawrence did that. He had a bad one, and year two, it was like, man, this is what everybody saw.
That was the playoff win.
Did they win
the Chargers? Didn't they do something weird? Didn't the Chargers screw something up with them?
Yes,
yeah.
That was the big comeback.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. That was when Justin Herbert and the Chargers had like a million point lead, and they blew it. And Trevor Lawrence came back and won that game.
I felt at that moment that
it was
Trevor
a change, right?
Was headed north. That this guy had proven, and then last year stubbed his toe. Man,
he just didn't look like that dude last year. Did not look like that dude last year. I don't know if he changes. I mean, he's 24, so obviously there's still a lot of potential.
No, you pay him. He's done everything required to get a raise in the modern NFL, but he's not going to. I say not. He should not be paid in the echelon where he's wanting to be paid. I think he sees himself, and his agency says, look at the other guys that are getting the highest end money, and he has done everything on the same timeline that those guys have. There's no reason why he shouldn't get it, and he's going to get something very close. The Tua argument, I agree with the injury side of things, and I think that's another part of why Trevor's going to get paid, because he is available, and he does continue to get paid. Tua's in camp today for a reason. I think he's about to get paid. I think he's going to get a check here in the next week, because I think that they see the same clock ticking and don't want to wait anymore.
Brian says AJ Josh Allen is Dak Prescott.
I disagree with that premise over and over and over. They are fundamentally different kinds of quarterbacks, fundamentally at their core.
Josh Allen is the kind of guy who can take a crappy team and put them on his back and make them competitive.
Dak has no desire to carry a team. He wants to help them.
If you want to say, well, where's the playoff success? I get that. But here's the answer for why Josh Allen hasn't had playoff success. Patrick Mahomes is the answer. It's if Patrick Mahomes didn't exist, Josh Allen has a Super Bowl ring already. It's Patrick Mahomes is going to make a lot of guys have less hardware than they should. Yeah. Like right now, Joe Burrow still hasn't won, And eventually, in a year or two, people are going to start saying, when's Joe Burrow going to win a Super Bowl? I mean, I don't know, but it's going to take getting past Patrick Mahomes to do it. And it's proving very, very difficult. And
I can tell you this, if Dak Prescott was truly the same caliber and type of quarterback that Josh Allen is, he'd already be the highest paid player in football already.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind.
I mean, he'd be in the Pat Mahomes realm and would have been for several years if Dak was that kind of guy. He ain't.
There's some of these guys that when you look at them, even when you haven't seen the success yet, you look at them and you go, oh yeah, that guy's him. That dude is the one. And I saw somebody else in the chat. I don't remember who it was. It's already scrolled past, but when someone said Justin Herbert's overrated, I disagree. You go watch Justin Herbert fling a football around and you go,
yeah,
now I see why they're talking about him the way they are.
The clock's ticking though, man. He's got one more year to get past the.
But he's all. I mean, you talk about a guy. You talk about a guy who's had a new coach every single year.
Like, I know it's not his fault, but he's got one more year.
Yeah, the clock's ticking on it. But someone else said, if you put Justin Herbert on the Cowboys, my goodness,
maybe. I don't know. I want him to prove it to me. I believe he would be.
John says Dak is better than Allen. Let's be real.
He ain't better. They're different. They're fundamentally different kinds of quarterbacks that need to quarterback very different teams.
I disagree completely with that. Like I think Dak is a solid quarterback. I think Josh Allen's in that Joe Burrow conversation of best non-Patrick Mahomes quarterbacks in the world. And there's going to be, it was the same thing with Brady. Like you would think that all these guys stunk when Brady was around. No, they just couldn't beat Tom Brady. That's all. Like the only guy who could do it with any consistency, and it wasn't even consistency, was Peyton Manning won like 2. Everybody else, it's like a dogfight to try and beat that dude. Good luck. Doesn't happen.
And the other part of this debate is when you talk about the difference between Dak and any number of different quarterbacks, and Allen being primary, they just quarterback different ways. And it's just Dak is the preeminent functionary. He will never slow your team down, but he's not going to add a whole bunch to it either. Josh will put you on his back and take you there. And by that same notion, he'll put you on the back and lose it too. You know, he'll lose the game as quickly as he'll win it. Fundamentally different cats. They out. But I pay those quarterbacks and I put them and I treat them very differently. Very different.
Josh Allen is literally a coin toss away from likely having a Super Bowl ring. That coin toss in the overtime against the Chiefs, which they changed the rules over, I think that coin toss literally decided who was going to the Super Bowl. And I think Josh Allen's looked at completely different if they win that coin toss. He hadn't done it yet, though. So I understand why people doubt him, but we also haven't seen enough of him or Herbert or Burrow or any of those guys to say they're not going to do it. Whereas Dak, this ain't Dak's 5th or 6th year in the league. We're getting to a point now where it's like, dude's been around, man.
And we know exactly who he is.
When's it going to happen? And that's the other thing with Josh Allen. You talk about availability. He's been available.
So this year is can you do it without Diggs? You're gonna have to prove it
for sure.
You have to prove it.
And boy, and we're gonna bring that full circle because the CeeDee Lamb conversations is similar. Like we saw Mahomes was able to do it without Tyreek Hill. We know Mahomes is the best quarterback in the world. Can Josh Allen do it without Stephon Diggs? Will Dak Prescott be able to do it eventually if he doesn't have CeeDee Lamb? What's a Prescott or what's a CeeDee Lamb-less Dak Prescott look like? If there's no Lamb, there's no Amari Cooper, what's that look like? What is Dak then? I think that's a question worth asking. We'll be right back. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 FM.
Kick off the summer with Family Dollar. Find what you need for warm weather fun, from disposable plates, hot dogs and grilling essentials, to sunscreen, bug repellent, and more. Stop by today to see how you can save at Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Dave Ramsey here. The only water softener I recommend is a quality water softener from Connecticut. It really is the last water softener you'll ever own.
ConnecticutSA.com.
And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-439-4252. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-439-4252. That's 800-439-4252. Again, 800-439-4252.
We're here with Jose Rios, attorney at the Gomez Law Firm. If you are injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, Jose, what's the first thing our listeners should do?
The first thing they should do is pick up the phone, call the Gomez Law Firm, or Google joegomezlaw.com.
Gomez Law has been protecting the people of our community for almost 50 years. They're the leader in personal injury law.
We do ride-sharing cases. We do carbon monoxide cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries.
But that's not all your firm does, Jose. Tell us a little more about other cases Gomez Law takes on and wins here in Texas.
Really anything that involves a personal injury and a third party that is responsible for causing that injury, we will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
With Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot, you can give your lawn or garden beds a pop of color and protection. Right now, get a special buy on Scott's Earth Grow Mulch, 5 bags for just $10. Help your soil retain moisture longer with color that lasts up to 12 months. Shop Memorial Day savings for a special buy on Scott's Earth Grow Mulch, 5 bags for just $10 at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep what price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Every so often in medicine, something comes along that is truly revolutionary.
Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, former orthopedic surgeon, now National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
I believe this is one of those things.
Dr. Shinecup is talking about regenerative medicine, something he's practiced, researched, and written about for nearly 2 decades.
The old ways of dealing with joint pain, such as steroids and surgery, are no longer the best ways.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this exciting option, using your own body's natural power to get lasting relief. And there's no better place to learn than QC Kinetics.
There is no one in this country today with more clinics, more satisfied patients, more advanced protocols, or more experience in using this exciting option to deliver life-changing results.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
You want to win wristbands, 3-day wristbands, like Maria did last week? Maria won her wristband. Was it Maria Esquivel? I like that name, Esquivel. Sounds hot, Maria Esquivel.
She's got an extra wristband.
Yeah, I bet she does. No, I bet there's
even hotter.
That does make her hotter. That's hotter. Might be hotter than ACL weekend.
Hotter than fish grease.
ACL weekend, for being in October, it does have a tendency to be sweltering.
A little warm and dusty. I spent a lot of time in the beer tent.
Oh, warm and dusty's not the worst thing. I remember the year, I want to say Pearl Jam was the headliner.
Mm-hmm.
This would have been like 2008 or 9. And that was the infamous Dillo Dirt year.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Dillo Dirt was basically poop.
Oh,
that they needed to build up Zilker Park for that event.
So they just lined the place with
it wasn't like it was
fertilizer.
It didn't seem that way until it rained.
Oh, and then we got an odor
because it was all covered with sod. But then it rained so hard and everybody's stomping around on it that now there was just poop everywhere and it was dumping rain. I would take hot and dusty any day over we're talking sometimes you're stepping in 9-inch deep Dillo dirt is what they called it. That was the nice way of saying what it was.
That's good for you.
But if you want to win tickets to I don't think they've got Dillo dirt. I know I've sold it really well. But all you got to do is listen to the Morning Huddle, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, the Blitz, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, or 5:30. You get qualified for a pair of 3-day wristbands to ACL Music Festival. We're going to pick one winner from each show at the end of the week. We did it last week. The Blitz did it last week. So we got 2 winners. We got 2 more coming on Friday, but we're going to register 3 a day until then. So we've got 3 down, 12 to go this week. And of course, if you don't win, you can always buy your wristbands at aclfest.com. Here is the question. I'm going to stick with sports trivia since that seemed to go over better yesterday. We talked about the Tuas and the Justin Herberts, and Tua's paid, or Tua's about to get paid. Justin Herbert's paid. Joe Burrow, who went in that draft, is paid. CeeDee Lamb is about to get paid in that draft. But Jordan Love is the last of Jordan Love and Tua are the last of the first round quarterbacks who didn't get paid. There were 4 quarterbacks in the first round. One quarterback was taken in the second round of that draft, and he's already been paid. First one to call in and give me the name of that second round quarterback from the Joe Burrow draft, you are registered to win wristbands to ACL. It's as simple as that.
Now with less manure.
I bet Rob knows the answer to that question.
Vaguely.
Trivia question.
Vaguely, but I cheated.
Oh, well.
I was in on the preparation.
Okay. So there you go. Call in and win it, baby. And again, we'll be back at 8:30 and give away another opportunity to win. 2-1 ESPN. Yeah, it's funny to look at. That was a hell of a draft.
As you were going down, I thought, man, and Jordan Love is playing his cards quite well. If he ends up being the last of the quarterbacks to sign, isn't the last guy the highest paid guy?
That's typically how it works out. But think about this, that CeeDee Lamb draft and the idea that was the Justin Jefferson draft, and they took CeeDee Lamb before Justin Jefferson, and the names that were available and got taken before CD or Justin Jefferson, Henry Ruggs was the
take his keys,
the first wide receiver off the board. I don't think he's going to get a second contract.
I don't think so.
Jerry Jeudy went before CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. And then Jalen Reagor from TCU went before Justin Jefferson, went between CD and Justin Jefferson. Boy, there's some regret on the drafting of wide receivers that year. Think about this. T. Higgins who also, by the way, is holding out or not attending OTAs, went 33rd over all that year. Clyde Edwards-Helaire went 32nd. I think if the Chiefs could do it over again, they'd probably take the wide receiver.
Maybe. Although that year, Helaire had a good year. He helped them toward a Super Bowl. He did. I mean, for a year anyway.
I think they could have won that Super Bowl without him.
Maybe without him. But he seemed to be an ideal pick.
They could certainly use a wide receiver more now. Oh, I remember.
Hands.
Oh, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the perfect fit.
He didn't, and he kind of was
the
for a
perfect
brief moment.
The problem is he's just not that good.
Well, and it's about 5'2" on top of that.
And they also, by the way, they also passed on Jonathan Taylor and DeAndre Swift if they really wanted a running back. If you were really going to force a running back in round 1, I'm not saying those other guys are going to for sure be better. They look like they're going to be better. I think
Taylor's already won a rushing.
Yeah, they're going to be better. Even J.K. Dobbins, that same draft, better. All right. We're talking about the price of these quarterbacks. And we've hinted it on this show. I used to say it on my old show all the time. There's got to be a change in the way that the salary cap structure works, where if they just need to put quarterbacks on their own island, and this is what you're allowed to pay your quarterback room, and this is what you're allowed to pay the rest of your team.
I think owners are terrified of that. The only reason that the league exists the way it does is to protect themselves from themselves. Because I think if they were given free reign, I can't imagine how much would Pat Mahomes would actually own the Chiefs by now. I mean, if you could do whatever you could to win a Super Bowl, 51% of the Chiefs seems like a pretty good deal. Here you go, man. Go win me 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that we'll go, okay, quarterbacks, because we're paying you sick. Now, there's still going to be a salary cap, but quarterbacks are going to have their own $100 million salary cap. Well, of course, as soon as you allow room, like a vacuum, all the money. So then immediately we're going to have $100 million a year quarterbacks, and all the owners are going to look at each other like, man, I wish there were rules to keep me from spending this kind of money, but now I got it.
Jerry Jones probably top of the list of guys that wishes there were rules like that.
Yes. They act like they're free spenders.
He wouldn't have been in this Dak situation.
Exactly. They act like they want to spend all the money. They don't. They want to make a profit.
Do you think Jerry's embarrassed at how Dak's kind of gotten over on him? Secretly, he wouldn't say that, but do you think Jerry, as a man, as a businessman, feels like, damn it, Dak got me? Do you think he's bitter about that?
I think when you look at in totality, you can't not be but a little bitter. And this is, remember, Dak's gone through a couple of agents here. I mean, this isn't the first time he's had to deal with Jerry, and he's done it with different agents, and they've handled it different ways. And Jerry kind of stalled some things, but in totality, I cannot think of another player of his magnitude whose contracts have been handled more strangely, awkwardly, and really poorly than Jerry and Dak have done it. Because Dak, to this day, 9 years in, is indefinable. He is managed either by design or by output. We can't define how good this guy is. And in the modern world, if you can't be defined, then you get to define yourself. And he keeps defining himself, getting paid at rates where, quite frankly, everybody agrees, other than because the Jones get, keeping up with the rest of the neighborhood is the reason he's getting it. And I think Jerry, in hindsight, will look at it and go, man, he got me. At every turn, he got me. And it was all my doing. It wasn't like he was smarter than me. I just screwed it up at every turn. And he'll screw it up again. And the Dak will end up making, $200 million on errors. I mean, just because of the summation of every mistake over a decade.
Brad says, AJ, tread lightly when it comes to your Dak takes. These local yahoos will bury you with anything disparaging about their beloved quarterback. I don't think so. I mean, I think that there's listen, I try to always, it's real easy to keep your takes in order if you believe what you're saying. And so you're never going to hear me BSing about something or saying something I don't believe about a player. And sometimes
not a lie if you believe it.
The local fans support it, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it takes a while, but typically people come around and see what the hard truth is. I said a lot of bad things about James Harden when I was in Houston, when James Harden was doing enough to make the Rockets compete for Western Conference Finals and things like that. And people were like, oh, how dare you say that about him? But then as time went on, they said, damn, that guy was right about James Harden. And then it feels kind of good. It feels kind of good to stand your ground and then be redeemed. But I think there's a lot more people who have questions about Dak than you'd think here. I think it almost feels like it's a split crowd. You're either team Dak or team not Dak.
It's not just team Dak. It goes back to team Romo. This has been going on for a long time. Just change the number. I mean, Romo was the same way. But, with Romo, it was but for one completion, Dez caught it in Green Bay, I believe Tony has a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
And I think that all those people, we look back on that, but for that play, and Tony and Dak were the same guy. They were right in the middle of the road, just good enough. And we've been going through it forever.
All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, we'll take a break from the NFL and we'll get into some Spurs chatter. Darius Garland, a name that's popping up on the radar. Want to gauge Rob's interest on that, see how he'd be a fit for San Antonio. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, it is a big day for the Dallas Cowboys. The first voluntary OTAs. Is CD going to be there?
We'll talk about that with Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk as she joined us at 5:15. Plus, we'll get you ready for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
What's wrong with Rick? He's kind of spacey.
That's Rick's identical twin, Scott. He's not used to answering direct.
What's going on?
Rick asked me to keep it secret, but he asked his twin to cover his shift so he could go to Diamonds Direct to shop.
But this is a jewelry store.
Exactly. But the prices and selection are so much better at Diamonds Direct. Rick doesn't want the boss to get suspicious, so Scott's here in case the boss sees Rick at Diamonds Direct.
But that would mean that the boss is at Diamonds Direct too.
Yeah, we have a lot of secrets.
You never know who you'll run into at Diamonds Direct. With unbeatable direct importer prices, the highest quality diamonds, the most sought-after designer rings, the best customer service, the strongest guarantees in the industry, it's just a no-brainer.
You think if Scott had a mustache, he'd look like me?
Go where everyone goes. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com.
With Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal, you can get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin with small seasoned potatoes.
And with all that for just $3, it really is a proper breakfast, wouldn't you say? Huh? With a light and fluffy toasted English muffin and crispy seasoned potatoes. Go on, Catherine, give it a go.
Okay. Jolly good morning.
Ah, close love. Grab a proper breakfast with Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal for a limited time.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Select a request English muffin deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders. Single item at regular price. Prices are higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
When it's time for a brake job, go with a solution that delivers one of the smoothest and most quiet rides on the road. Napa Silent Guard brakes. Made with fiber-reinforced shims that eliminate noise for the life of the pad. Rubber-coated hardware for a better fit on 99.5% of vehicles. And quality design that meets and exceeds OE performance. Napa Silent Guard brakes deliver the stopping power and performance drivers demand in their vehicles. Available locations nationwide.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish. Sounds easy. It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagel. You're listening to the home of the Texas Rangers, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Let's get wild. It's a Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, the wildest, wackiest morning show in all of San Antonio. Ooga.
That was a good one.
Thanks, man.
Ooga.
Listen, I'm a wacky morning DJ.
You are.
Wacky morning DJ.
We got the sound effect.
Oh yeah, baby. That's what we do. That's what they paid me to do here.
Yeah, man.
They said, we want you to come here
and
be the wacky morning man. And I said, you know what? That's my life's dream.
As the father of boys, I know how to make them laugh.
I was supposed, I think when I signed my contract, they wanted me to come in here dressed like Pee Wee Herman every day.
Well, down here, that's kind of, his bike's still down in the Alamo.
In the basement of the Alamo.
So.
One of the great films of all time. One of the most underrated films of all time, I believe.
For a minute, I drove the riverboats down on the river.
Mm-hmm.
And, people come to San Antonio for different reasons. And more times than not, I was asked about the basement in the Alamo. That was a true question. Like, is there really a basement?
In the 80s, that's what most people knew about San Antonio.
Pretty much. That and drive-bys.
There's no basement in the Alamo, silly. Or were they making, was it with masa or something like that?
It was masa.
Yeah. They're making, can you say Adobe? Adobe. We were talking, I guess it was last week, about potential fits in San Antonio and how I'm not a Trae Young guy. I'm just not. And I know that I think there's people that talk on the radio at this very station who love the idea of adding Trae Young to Victor Wembanyama. And I as the new guy, and I didn't see all 82 Spurs games last year. I can tell you that. Thank the Lord. But I'm not as deep in the Spurs, so I can't say this is what would make them better. But knowing what I know about Trae Young, I don't think Trae Young's a winner. I don't think he adds to a winning culture. I don't know if Darius Garland does either, but the idea of him is much more appealing because I think the price tag would be significantly lower. I think as the Cavs move toward their future, and the assumption now is that the Cavs are going to re-sign Donovan Mitchell. There were thoughts maybe this season that Donovan Mitchell would want out. It sounds like maybe not. And if they keep Donovan Mitchell, they keep their core together, and their core is essentially Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and these. Darius Garland's going to become kind of the odd man out, I think. Darius Garland's got some game. He's just not Donovan Mitchell, and he's played a back seat. I think he might be a good next piece around Wemby. I still think if this team is ever going to win titles, a guy like Darius Garland will be the third or fourth best player on the team. But again, you're not going to win a title next year. The Spurs aren't going to be there, in 2 years even. It's going to be a process.
The thing with Garland is, can't you draft that guy, though? Can't I go find a Darius Garland?
Not in this draft.
Well, not in this draft, but in the next 2 or 3. And go find a guy that can do what Darius has done, or can do what we want a guy like Darius to do for about half the cost. I mean, if I look at free agency when I as a whole, and the Spurs are a little bit different because free agents really don't matter to them for the most part, that I go get something that I can't draft or I don't have time to develop. And right now, the Spurs have a lot of time. We got time to kind of develop because our best guys still got some work to do. And Darius Garland is a very good NBA basketball player. Not quite an all-star, but could be, should be maybe eventually, and a couple 3-time all-star. But I feel like in the next couple years, by the time I get where I think we need to be in 3, I might be able to find that guy for a little bit less. And I'm a Garland fan. I just think as we come into this, Garland will make this team better. But at what cost and for how long? And if I project and you're my scout and you look down the road and say, well, there's a guy that's coming up that's going to be a free agent next year that has the same skill sets and we can get him for X, then I'm willing to wait. But if you look down the road and go, there's no point guard, there's no guard coming down the line that can do what he does for the price that we're going to pay, then I'm all in. And if you can tell me that, I'm in because I like what he does. But I'm the same way here. It's a little bit early in the game to settle on Garland in my mind.
That's fair. To me, it's one of those things where the next step is sort of a developmental one, and you can only have so many guys who are in year 1 or 2. And you said, can't I draft that guy? What you can't draft is a guy who's got 5 years of NBA experience under his belt and has played with other top tier guys and knows what it's like to be in the conference semifinals. You can't draft those guys.
Well, you can, but there's just not one coming in the next 2 years.
No, I mean, you can't draft someone in this year's draft that will come in with the experience that Darius Garland has today.
Career, he's 18-4, nearly 7 assists, stellar numbers. I mean, this is $25 to $30 million a year guy. He is, and deservedly so. I'm not against Garland, but for the same reason I can see not being for Trae Young. Trae Young does bring something that I cannot draft, nor can I coach, and that is the ability to put it in from 28 feet away. There's 10 guys in the world that can do what Trae Young does, and despite everything else that might be a problem, he does something that I cannot draft and I cannot train up.
That's fair.
And might be enough. In my mind, it's not. But when I look at free agents, I look, can I go get something that I can't have time to develop or can do something that I don't have time to go get? And to me, Trae Young has more of that thing that I cannot find elsewhere than Darius Garland has. And I really don't want either one of them, to be honest with you.
By the way, Josue De Luna was the winner at 7:30. He is registered.
Congrats.
I got it. Claymore says this, and I just don't see this. You have Darius Garland and Devin Vassell.
No.
Listen,
different,
man,
different.
I really think this is where me being an outsider kind of helps me because the rest of the world, I don't know how San Antonio looks at Devin Vassell. The entire rest of the world doesn't look as Devin Vassell like he's Darius Garland.
No.
I just
I wish.
And I'm not trying to dump on Devin Vassell. Like I think he's a good player, but I just think Devin Vassell is kind of just a guy, and he just happened. You know who it reminds me of? This is something I learned about hometown bias. When I was a kid, I was a Houston Astros fan. Me and my dad went to the Dome. We had season tickets, went to all the games, and until Nolan Ryan left to the Rangers, and then we made a switch, and we started going up to Rangers games on those good old $29 Southwest flights from Houston to Dallas, which you could get back in the day. But when I was a kid, there were some players where I was convinced Jose Cruz was one of the best.
Don't dog. Jose was. Oh, don't bust my bubble.
I'm telling you.
Cesar Cedeno and Jose Cruz were part of the finest outfield that baseball has ever put together, and you're not going to convince me otherwise.
I thought Jose Cruz was like, I mean, he might as well have been Barry Bonds when I was a kid.
Jose Cruz was awesome. I drank that Kool-Aid too, man.
And Jose Cruz was like, he was the home run hitter on the Astros. And then you become an adult and you think, man, Jose Cruz was a masher back in the day. And then you pull up his stats and you say, never in Jose Cruz's life did he have 100 RBI in a season. Never in Jose Cruz's life did he hit 20 home runs in a season. He didn't even hit 17 home runs is his career high. But as, you know,
you're not going to doubt
11-year-old AJ, 10-year-old AJ singing.
That was everybody.
This guy was it, man. But what I'm saying is, if I didn't grow up going to the Dome, going to the Astros games, I would have thought Jose Cruz was just a guy. The difference was there's not those guys. Claymore says, AJ, Devin Vassell, 18 points per game. Darius Garland, 18 points per game. Devin Vassell is the fourth, or Darius Garland's the number 4 scoring option on his team, or number 3 scoring option on his team. And Devin Vassell's in the second round of the playoffs.
I think, first of all, we're not downgrading what Devin is. Devin is a fringe all-star type. He's got that kind of skill, but he ain't Darius Garland in what he can do. He's a receiver instead of a Darius controls the game, and Devin plays in it. If you get the way that they play, very different types. Output, yeah, and they're kind of the same guy. Are you willing to trade? Because it would cost you the value of a Devin Vassell for Darius Garland and draft picks and more money. And if we're comparing the two, would you trade for Devin Vassell and go, okay, here's 2 number 1s, and here's another player, and we're going to pay you $40 million. Would you trade for Devin Vassell? If you're comparing the two and saying they're the same guy, would you offer the same that it would cost to get Darius Garland? And I think 9 times out of 10, people say, no, I'm not going to pay for Devin Vassell the way that I would pay for Darius Garland, even though they both average 18, 6, and whatever. They do it very different ways and apply their game in different measures.
Vassell, better perimeter shooter.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Probably so.
They're the same guy. So if you're willing to trade for Darius, would you say the same for Devin? No.
I think that Garland is more of a, like, the conversation is, can you put a point guard around like a facilitating point guard with Wemby, and what could happen if you did that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's Garland is, I don't know if he's like a point guard in the truest sense.
He's a lead guard.
He's a combo guard, whatever. He's the guy you want the ball in his hands.
Lead guard. He's the dude. He's supposed to drop when he drops and supposed to shoot when he shoots, and those are the superstars.
Which is what Chris Paul eventually became.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he became from just a guy who was going to set you up to a guy who he was going to decide what was going to happen. And it's not as simple as just finding a point guard in the draft.
For him, no, it's not. And that's the other issue. Do you want a middling point guard? Do you want a young point guard to grow with Wemby? Or do you want one to come in and take control? Because there's 3 different styles of play as we head into this. And Garland is the guy that would be a little bit ahead of Wemby in the development styles, but would have to kind of subjugate his game to what Wemby is becoming.
And Pete says Devin made huge improvements in his game.
See, we
I'm
got into
not
this
doubting
discussion.
that.
But he is just a very good player. And just because he's one of the best on the Spurs does not mean he's one of the best in the league. He's not. He's another guy.
The second best player on a 22-win team that were the reason why they won 22 games is because they don't have any talent, is the reason why, like, it is different than the second best player on a team that was just in the Eastern Conference semifinals. There's just a difference.
And I will say this. I do envision this team with Devin, the only survivor, and Wemby in 3 years. I do believe that he's the only guy that's still going to be
The only
here.
way Devin is still here is if they don't make a trade for an upgrade.
Right.
And so, to me, if I'm a Spurs fan, I hope that Devin isn't here in 3 years, because he's the only piece you've really got that has real trade value as a player. And this is going to really hurt Spurs fans' feelings. outside of Devin, none of these guys in the trade market, on the open market, are worth anything. And that sounds harsh.
Oh, it's true.
But they're not good players. They're not. I don't know. There's a couple of these guys who are maybe could be the 5th best starter on a real competitive NBA team. But for the most part, Devin's the only guy that any other team would look at and go, I mean, outside of Wemby, obviously, because the Spurs aren't even going to answer a call on that. But outside of him, there's not another player on the Spurs that people will look at and go, that's a guy I would send my guy out if you're willing to send that back.
But the good news is I don't think anybody's asking for Devin. I think he's going to end up being a Spur because he's getting paid the right amount. He does the right things for the Spur, and I don't think the Spurs would throw it in, especially because they have all the draft picks to offer. Nobody's coming and calling the Spurs looking for Devin Vassell. He's not the missing piece.
You're right.
They're looking for the.
But remember, the way salary match works.
But we won't throw him in, is what I'm saying. I think the Spurs go, okay, we've got this guy circled for this X amount of money, and he is going to, his output equals the input. We're paying him exactly what he's worth. Why mess with that? I mean, we know what he can do. He knows his place in the world. He knows his way around the city. I think they'll find other pieces and let him stay because he's adequate. He's good enough.
Yeah, and soon the Spurs are going to have to. They're going to have to start paying guys that they can trade away, like expiring contracts, so they can pay away when it is time for them to get really good. All right, hour number 3 coming up. Let's talk about that Eastern Conference Finals matchup starting tonight. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM, Floresville.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
With Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot, you can give your lawn garden beds a pop of color and protection. Right now, get a special buy on Scott's Earth Grow Mulch, 5 bags for just $10. Help your soil retain moisture longer with color that lasts up to 12 months. Shop Memorial Day savings for a special buy on Scott's Earth Grow Mulch, 5 bags for just $10 at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or stop to opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace.
If you've put off replacing windows because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door.
Just text BUY to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year.
That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end again this month.
Text BUY to 200-300 right now. Text the word BUY to 200-300. Don't wait. Text BUY to 200-300.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem. And it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for my favorite game app. It is Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Heck, I'm just one of 3 million active users. They're the easiest to play. They're the most exciting way to play your daily fantasy sports. And it's unlike other apps. On Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're a fantasy player. You know when it's more. You know when it's less. Up to 100 times your money according to how you play it. $1,000 on basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries. Today is the time to play. You can turn $10 into big money quick. The biggest moments in professional basketball are happening right now, and it's no fun unless you're playing. Go to Prize Picks right now and remember the code Alamo for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's the code Alamo. Prize Picks fantasy. You're playing already. Go win. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the code Alamo, and up to $100 deposit matches coming. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Score a trip for 4 to Orlando's most magical theme park, including airfare and hotel. Register now to win at SanAntonioSportsStar.com.
San Antonio Sports Center.
In the NFL, OTAs begin today, and in Dallas, CeeDee Lamb is expected to be a no-show. He's going into a contract year, and before the start of OTAs today, we expect him to sit and watch. The offseason workouts will go on all week. In the NBA, the Eastern Conference Finals begin. Boston plays host to the Indiana Pacers. Tip will be at 7 o'clock here on 94.1. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hour number 3 of the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We're having a good time today, Bubba.
We were due, man. Yesterday,
Yeah.
Monday sucked.
Man, oh, y'all wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a good-ass day. I can feel it. I don't even know why.
I hear tell it's hump day.
Oh, I don't think we'll know until Joe Reiner will come on air. He'll let us know if it is. I kind of thought today was, but it turns out it's not. And they're like, no, dude, it's not today.
You know, Monday,
I thought I could just yell that it like it could be a bit, and if I just yell it out, they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's awesome.
I think it should be. Because last night was weird. It was the beginning of the week, but there was, there was sport. I mean, there was hockey on, but we're so into basketball, it felt like we're waiting for something to happen. So now the week is beginning on a Tuesday. We got games tonight.
Brian tweeted me and said, don't you besmirch the name of Jose Cruz.
Again, thank you, Brian.
I'm not besmirching the name. I'm telling you, I loved Jose Cruz. It's just one of those things where, like, as you get older, you look back and you go, man,
that dude just
statistically, when you put his numbers next to Mickey Mantle's, they're not even the same for some reason. Yet I was sold as a kid that Jose Cruz was basically Mickey Mantle.
He kind of was. He's the only one that made the bull light up and the smoke come out of his nose.
Yeah, but he only did it 17 times a year.
17? I must have seen every one of them.
Career high, 17 home runs. What? That's impossible. But that's the truth.
My
that is the
childhood
truth.
was a lie.
It really was when you think about it that way. It really, really was. And that, I think one day you guys are going to look at Devin Vassell and go, wait a minute. That guy was the guy that I was like, that's untouchable.
Just a regular old guy.
He's untouchable. He's just a guy. He's good.
Nice guy.
He's good. And I think there's something to Spurs fan, and this is I'm damn sure not besmirching Spurs fan, just like I would never besmirch Jose Cruz. But I do think that you guys, and maybe rightfully so, spent a lot of the last 20 years in a Spurs bubble.
Yeah, we're not very good with transition. We never have.
Wearing Spurs goggles
Mhm.
that you can't see to your left or to your right. You kind of see what's in front of you because it let's face it, there was a long time that it was really awesome and you didn't need to look around much. You didn't have to worry about what other teams were trying to do because people were trying to figure out what the Spurs were doing. But again, as someone who looks at the NBA through sort of a broader lens, the Spurs right now are looked at as they've got one guy and they had to have 11 more players on the active roster every night. And
Well, yeah, when you
that's
think
what they've
about
got
it,
right now.
when Spurs fans, to put it in perspective, I saw a thing earlier like there are no more dynasties in the NBA. What's the next? And the obvious next one is the Spurs with Wemby. But when they talk about the future of the Spurs, they will bring up, and this is the Nationals, they're going to talk about Wemby and all the draft picks and all the money in the bank. They're not going to run down and they've got this guy at this position and they've got this guy at that position and they're primed. No, they're going to talk about Wemby, all the number one draft picks over the next decade, and all the free agency money they're going to have starting next year. That's all they're going to talk about. They're going to say, oh, by the way, they got Devin and Keldon and Trey. No, it's Wemby, draft picks, and money. That's what makes them the next potential.
Cap space.
Yeah, that's it.
Cap space, draft capital, and one dude. And hell of a dude.
And we love Devin, and he can certainly play a role, but it's just going to be a bit part role for whatever happens.
Devin Vassell is Bill Doran.
Not nearly as good looking.
Not nearly as good
As
looking.
a handsome man, Bill Doran.
Bill Doran was handsome. But Bill Doran, another guy who
sold a bill of goods, man.
Yeah, if you were watching the Astros in 1988, you were convinced that Bill Doran was basically, you know,
remember how much we blamed the Mets back
he was
then?
pre-Derek Jeter is what he was. And turns out, no, Bill Doran was just he was a pretty solid ball player. That, you know, he would have been the second baseman for the Houston Astros.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, it's you see things when you're looking through your team's lenses that the outsiders don't see the same way is what it boils down to.
And Jose Cruz. Don't you change my childhood. Those guys were great.
You know what? Glenn Davis, the big bopper. They called that dude the big bopper. And people in Houston said, "Oh,
all right. Since we're on this train, where's Biggio now? Where's Biggio now that we've got a little older?"
Am I allowed to say?
No,
listen,
be careful.
This pissed off people in Houston all the time. Craig Biggio was a good player for a really, really long time. That does not make him a great player.
Oh.
Craig Biggio is in like. So if let's say the weakest room in the Hall of Fame is like Harold Baines and Tim Raines,
dude,
Craig Biggio is like he's standing right outside that door listening to what they're saying, seeing if he wants to hang out with them.
Lightning is going to come through this ceiling.
Craig Biggio was never even the best player on his team. Like he just wasn't. He was a good player for a really, really long time and a fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But because he stuck around and stuck around and stuck around and kept, you know, piling up.
By the end, it was time to go.
It's like, dude, seriously. But you got to get that 3,000 hits. You had to make sure he got in. And you know what? And also, I mean, let's face it, the dude was a loser in the playoffs. Like, just couldn't do anything. Neither could Bagwell, but at least Bagwell was an MVP caliber player.
Yeah, I didn't bring up Bags. Bags was worthy.
Honestly, prime Lance Berkman, better player.
Okay, so
than Craig Biggio.
I'm glad you brought up Berkman because to me, that's the pivot point for fans. Where is your long-term stance on Berkman?
Lance Berkman, better player than Craig Biggio.
Mm-hmm.
Craig Biggio just had the longer career.
Yeah.
Just had the long. And this is the other thing. Boy, I didn't know I was going to go piss off Astro fan today, but I guess I'm not in Houston anymore. I'll just say I can say whatever I want.
Yes, you can.
The idea that there are people who think Jeff Bagwell may have used performance enhancers.
May.
Oh,
I mean, it was the day. It was the
It was
era.
the- it was the
I
era.
mean, we were allowed to do things.
The idea that Ken Caminetti used performance enhancers, and I think it was actually proven he did. I mean, I think it, in some ways, led to his untimely demise. That and other things.
Ken had a good time.
But imagine a world where these three young bucks are coming up together in the big leagues. Bagwell, Biggio, and Caminetti, a trio of future stars. And they're all in the Astros clubhouse. And Caminetti I like to think Caminetti was the ringleader of any steroid use. He pulls out his bag, his Gold's Gym bag, and opens it up and pulls out a Ziploc bag. No, hell no, not back then.
Oh, this was
this was like, oh yeah, this was like a big syringe and a vial, and he and Bagwell are taking turns. This is all hypothetical. I don't have any proof of this, by the way, just in case anyone ever tries to sue me. This is a dream I had, basically. I don't think this is true, but I had a dream. Caminetti shoots the roids into Bagwell's ass, and Bagwell shoots up Caminetti, and then they look at Biggio and say, "You ready, Craig?" And Craig goes, "No." "Oh, not me, fellas. I'm clean as a whistle. I don't do those types of things." Like, everyone acted like Craig Biggio was some Boy Scout and above reproach when it came to that. Dude, those three guys came up together. Do you really think the two of them were all like,
okay? You can besmirch Jose Cruz,
which I didn't, by the way.
You can tell me Bags was just good, but when we
Bagwell was better than just good.
Oh, okay. But when we start talking about Biggs and Juice,
I'm just saying.
I think you've crossed the line, sir.
I'm just saying, if everybody in the room was doing it, and you think that Craig Biggio was off in the corner, working on his knitting badge for his Weeblos, whatever it is. I think that there's a world where I can picture that being maybe not totally true. But again, that's just a dream I had.
So you're just ruining people's childhood right and left. You're just throwing hand grenades into my
You know what I
history.
really try to do? I try to be realistic.
Well, see, that's ruining childhood. Can't be realistic. Jose Cruz was an all-star 17 consecutive years. And, well, there's a lot of Biggs and Biggs and Bags dog names around South Texas to this day because of our fandom.
By the way, the Big Bopper, Glenn Davis, 190 career home runs. 190.
That's not chicken feed.
It's great.
Yeah.
But not for someone called the Big Bopper.
Well, 190 for the Stros. I mean, it's all relative.
All right.
Wow, we just blew up childhood.
Sorry, man. It can't be blowing up your childhood.
Well, I mean,
my
Astrodome.
childhood didn't work in the same timeline as yours.
Kind
That's
of
weird.
the same, but that era of the late 80s into late 90s into the 2000s to me is prime Astros land in my book,
But this is going to break some hearts too. Prime Astro land has been like the last 10 years.
Well, I know, but when you talk about the formdom, how you became an Astros fan, it was my childhood with Cruz and Cedeno, but the glory days, apart from most recently, was the Bees, man.
The Killer Bees. You know who they were? They were the Dak Prescotts of Major League Baseball.
Very much so. And you could
nice career numbers with no playoff success.
And you could paint them as either a success or a failure, depending on your perspective. And that kind of sums up Dak. Depending on how you look at him, he's been a tremendous success or an absolute failure.
And to be fair, the history of your franchise somehow can lean to that. Like, we didn't know how much. It was hard to say how much of a failure the Killer Bees era Astros were until we saw that Altuve era
because
Astros
they were
win.
selling tickets and losing big games. But man, we had not lost big games. We hadn't even been in them.
And if Cowboy fan had never lived through Troy Aikman, you don't realize that Tony Romo and Dak Prescott were generally kind of losers. Like, it's all about what you know, and what you don't. And in the mid and late 1980s, I didn't know any better. I thought that's what a great baseball team looked like.
They were, and Jose Cruz still.
All right. Well, fair enough.
See him tracking down balls. Center field.
Yeah. But he and What? This was the outfield. It was Jose Cruz, Billy Hatcher, and Kevin Bass. Kevin Bass had that big.
There was no
thick
intersection
mustache.
between Cedeno and Cruz. I think Cedeno was there at the
end
of at the beginning of Cruz era.
I think he was.
Yeah.
I think when Cedeno, because Cedeno's not a guy who pops up in my memories much.
That's the 10.
I think he's like more late 70s.
He is.
And that, like, obviously I was born in 1980. So like my Astros fandom started around like I started going to games in like 85, 84, 85.
When I say J.R. Richard, what does that mean to you?
I mean, I know of J.R.
So
Richard. I don't think I ever saw J.R. Richard pitch a game. If I did, I was too young to remember it. Like the pitchers when I was going was Mike Scott.
Right. Yeah.
It was Jim DeShays.
Good years.
Bob Nepper, Charlie Kerfield. That was the boys back then. Of course, Nolan. All right. We got to hit a break.
Good years.
They were good years. It doesn't disparage what they were. Just because Devin Vassell is Charlie Kerfield doesn't take anything away from him.
Charlie Kerfield gets a free lunch in Houston every day of his life.
If he wants it, he does. All right, let's come back. I saw this. I had no idea how college football schedules were picked. I've got a story that's going to kind of surprise you, I think. There's it's like an NFL draft, these college game day guys. We're going to talk about that coming up. It's the Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, as you sit comfortably in your office or car, you better be making plans for the day, and it better include Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks has the lunch specials you're waiting on and the happy hours that we all so desperately need on a Tuesday afternoon. And then when you add in all the extras that a Twin Peaks has, if you're looking for it on the screen, it is there. And as the NBA playoffs continue, you know there's one place to be, and that's one of those man caves inside of Twin Peaks. 4 locations are waiting on you. Over on the west side, head over to 151 on my side of town, De Zavala and I-10. That's my home field. Park North location right there on San Pedro. And the brand new one, right next to the IKEA, it's on IKEA Lane. You know, when you head over to Twin Peaks, there are things that you expect that it's all a matter of degrees, like 360 degrees of views of all the things you want to see on the screen. How about 29 degrees of icy cold beer? And then, of course, it's the mood coming out of the kitchen, scratch made and ready for you. That's Twin Peaks. The eats are always delicious. The drinks icy cold. But why do we go? It's so easy. It's those scenic views.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it is a big day for the Dallas Cowboys. The first voluntary OTAs. Is CD going to be there?
We'll talk about that with Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk as she joined us at 5:15. Plus, we'll get you ready for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ziprecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MBA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
We are back, and we are looking at a pretty lopsided matchup, Jim.
That's right, Ron. I mean, in one corner, we've got a 175-pound guy, and in the other, a 6,000-ton heavyweight train.
Jim, this guy has no idea what he's getting himself into.
It's no contest. Every day, people tempt fate and die trespassing on railroad tracks. See tracks? Think train.
This is the absolute worst time of year to be dealing with joint pain. You can't do the outdoor stuff that you love to do, like golfing, hiking, biking, jogging, playing on the beach. Hey, it's James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star. Listen, don't go through the summer missing out on life. Call QC Kinetics now and find out how they can use biologics from your own body to give new life to your achy joints, like your knees, hips, back, shoulders. QC's regenerative medicine protocols can restore and repair that damaged tissue with no surgery, no steroids, no drugs, and best of all, no downtime. This is the future of medicine. Tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients around the country are living their best life this year because they made the call. QC medical professionals are under the direction of Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, who is an orthopedic surgeon who became the future pioneer in regenerative medicine. He knew there had to be a better way. So call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime!
Morning Huddle 941 San Antonio's Sports Star. Bringing you the dopest beats. Yeah. AJ Hoffman, Rob Thompson.
That's never been said.
The dopest beats?
The dopest beats. That has never been uttered on this airwaves.
I think Minnick said that just last week. I think I actually stole it from him.
He does spit some mad rhymes.
He spits hot fire. Spits hot fire. Does Minix. You can hear those guys 2 to 6. And you can register to win every day with them. 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30. They're giving you 4 chances to win. Although at the end of the day, that means there's 20 people registered instead of 15 with us. Because Dax was like, let's do it our boss was like, let's do it at the bottom of every hour. And I said, no. We want to give our guys a better chance of winning. So let's do it at 7:30, 8:30, 9:30. Forget 6:30. It's too early. Nobody's going to know a trivia answer at 6:30 anyway. You know, most people are just barely getting home from the strip club or something like that. They don't know what's going on. They can't answer trivia questions. And so I said, I want to give them a better odds. And Dax said, okay, you win, Bubba. And here we are. Now you guys can be like Maria last week. Champions.
Better manager. Art Howe, Larry Durker.
Art Howe.
I'm thinking back in the eras. Just sorry, didn't want to throw back. Texted me that.
What?
The question was, looking back in history, their memory, Durker and Howe were both highly successful winning managers, and they really weren't.
No,
they really weren't.
No, you know who was? Dusty Baker, who everybody wanted to run out of town, and now look what you got.
Hal Lanier.
Astros blew another one. He scores 7 runs and lose because Framber stinks now. I don't know what happened to him. Can I take it back when you said Framber or Sale yesterday? You asked me. I changed my mind today. Give me Chris Sale. Forget Framber. He's dead to me, at least for the next 4 days.
Until he gets back.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Don't you tell me when you get back, Framber. You know who I miss? Garrett Cole. Give me Garrett. I know he's got Tommy John. He's recovered. Give me Garrett Cole left-handed over Framber right now. I bet Garrett Cole just spit it up there left-handed, not give up 20 runs a game. Like this dopey Hunter Brown.
Hunter's a young man. He's coming around.
Well,
he's a young man. He's a young man. Give him some time.
Hurry up and come
He's
around.
A brisket. He is not a steak. You gotta let this thing percolate.
We need that. What about Justin Verlander?
Now that's an old leather piece of meat.
Starting to worry about him too.
I think we might have crossed over the rainbow bridge with Verlander's career. I think we might be winded. He's got 2 good games left in him. It's just a matter of when we're going to get him.
Man,
and I'm saying just 2. That's it.
They better put him on the shelf and then hope they make the playoffs without him, and then pitch him in game 1 of whatever series, wild card series or whatever.
He looks like a dude that could snap. I mean, like that arm. He doesn't look right. I'll be real. He looks old and stiff.
Times are hard if you're throwing the baseball for the Houston Astros. Hitting the baseball still seems to be working out all right.
That's all a baseball.
But throwing the baseball, not ideal right now. And
I threw you off course again. I'm sorry. That was my fault. Threw a hand grenade in there.
It's all right, Bubba.
We were looking back at the Stros, and I wanted to make sure my childhood was as evidently flawed as it really is.
Now you've relived it all.
Yeah, now.
Tonight, we start the conference finals. The Celtics Pacers get underway. Game 1, ESPN, I think 7 o'clock Central Time, which I also don't understand. Like, why can't that be at 6 o'clock?
Because we're busy at 6.
This series, Pacers Celtics, doesn't concern anybody west of the Mississippi, really.
Not really. But
let's just knock this bad boy
out. Do you
out.
like where the Celtics are right now? Do you like where they
Boston?
In general, the Boston Celtic basketball team.
Oh, I thought you meant like Boston, the city.
I mean, in general.
I've never been, but I'm not a fan, I don't think.
No, I don't think you'd like it. No, I do. No, actually, you're a pub aficionado. I think you actually would like it. There's fine bars.
I don't like when people talk like that.
Well, there is that. I like where the Celtics are because I like being in a situation where I'm about to define myself. You know, the Celtics, this is, we'll make a big deal about, legacy and dynasties and all this. Well, the Celtics are in the best position in the NBA to plant their flag. They've gone through a couple of coaches. They've gone through bit players. It feels like they've done everything they can to meet this moment. And if they don't, at least it's over. That it is truly time to make a decision that what we have now cannot be. And I would love to be in that situation for the Celtics because, it's all out there. And if I go do it, we will plant the flag and this team will be one of those that will be remembered, or it'll just be a footnote. And you got about 14 games to prove it.
If the Celtics don't win this year, and again, the Celtics are 10.5 point favorites in game 1. I'm maybe shouldn't be assuming. I assume the Celtics are going to be playing in the NBA Finals.
They better be.
But if the Celtics don't win a title this year, you have to really question, I think, the direction of the Celtics.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can only be on the precipice for so long. And then when it's kind of like what I talked about with Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. Like, they've been there. It just hasn't worked out for them yet because this Mahomes guy exists. And Burrow, to his credit, did beat Mahomes once and didn't get done in the Super Bowl. But the Celtics thing, there's been good teams. But the Celtics are supposed to be one of those good teams.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a year that all the old dogs have fallen off. All the old blood from the last 5 years, the teams that have been at the top of the mountain every year, the teams that have been fighting for titles, they're all gone fishing. It's you, the Indiana Pacers, led by a traveling Tyrese Halliburton, which, by the way, Rob, after the show, he realized that I'm right about Tyrese Halliburton traveling.
One particular play, he did pat his feet.
He does that almost every shot. You're thinking we were talking about different things, but that's all right. The Mavericks and the T-Wolves, both young teams that, although maybe the Mavericks have some old blood, and they were in the conference finals 2 years ago, but nobody who's been to the finals who's won it. The path is there for the Celtics. If they can't win it this year, they're never going to win it.
And that's a good place to be. I would rather be where the Celtics are, where I know that think about it. They've gone through Marcus Smart a couple times. Horford's come and gone. Drew Holiday is now there. They went and got Porzingis. We're on our third coach, second GM. I don't know what else we can do. I don't know what else we can do for you.
And by the way, third coach, your coach keeps becoming less of a good coach every time you get a new one. That's not ideal. You want to upgrade at that spot. You keep getting worse. All right, we're going to continue this conversation on the Celtics and look into what they've got to do on the other side. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
How you feel this morning? Did you wake up ready to go attack the day
with
nothing bothering? Well, then keep it to yourself, because the rest of us woke up in pain. And if you woke up with something bothering you, I want you to consider Arasti, because Arasti, they are specialized in doing exactly what you need. That's getting you out of pain as fast as possible. And they don't do it with pills to hide it, and they don't do it with some kind of surgery to prolong it. They use what God gave you, your body's maximum healing potential, to get you back in the game. And it works. It has for me many times. My adult life, I've had lower back issues. And it might be for you, it might be plantar fasciitis, or maybe you've got a frozen hip or a bad shoulder or something that just won't allow you to live. I went to Arasti for the first time right in the midst of a back spasm. I didn't expect much help. And before you know it, I walked out. 3 visits later, I'm back in the game, and that had never happened to me. And I became an Arasti patient for life. If you're living in pain, there is a fix out there. It's called Arasti. They're all around San Antonio. They accept most insurances. And here's the good news. You don't need one of those stupid referrals. Make your decision. Call them right now. The number is 1-800-404-6050. Their website is arasti.com. They got a map of all the providers there. Listen close. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. There's an answer. It's called Arasti. Call them today, and when you do, I'm sure you're going to thank me later.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Remarkable change begins with daring to be different. Baby, I'm on a mission with Boost Mobile, putting the latest phones in the hands of more people. Introducing the Signature Coach Prime Razor, only from Boost Mobile. Rush to your nearest Boost Mobile retailer and get your Signature Coach Prime Razor on us. Get after it.
When you switch in with ID verification, select plans only. Offer valid 4/19/24 through 5/23/24. While supplies last. Taxes extra. New customers only. Must remain active and in good standing on a $60 a month plan for 6 months to receive all credits. Offer subject to change.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% on your choice of any 6 or more interior 6-panel pre-hung slab or bifold doors. And there's more. Save 10% when you buy 1 pallet or more of select concrete mix. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer. Attention homeowners, do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace.
If you've put off replacing windows because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door.
Just text BUY to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year.
That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month.
Text BUY to 200-300 right now. Text the word BUY to 200-300. Don't wait. Text BUY to 200-300.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or going to the grocery store for milk instead of buying your own cow. You know there's an easier and better way. Save up to 25% when you bundle home and auto with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing.
But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Let the beat drop. It's the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We're letting DJ Rob put down the tracks this morning on the ones. Wicka, wicka, whack. Yeah. We were talking about the Celtics and I would venture to say the need to win this year, because they're talking about right now on Get Up the most disappointing teams in the playoffs, and somehow Mike Greenberg thinks the Nuggets are more disappointing this year than the Phoenix Suns, who were predicted to win the entire NBA Finals preseason and then got swept in the first round of the playoffs. Like, come on, no one's more disappointing than the Suns.
I'll tell you, that list is pretty full of disappointment. The Bucks, man, you
Bucks
trade for Dame, you do all of that, and nothing to show for it but a fired coach.
A lot of it is Giannis' health. Like, when you got one dude that's that important, he's gone. And remember, Dame was out in some of those games too.
But the good news is at least Milwaukee can come back to work. You know,
Yeah.
we know that if they're healthy, we're probably better off. Phoenix is they're screwed. We're screwed. We
don't know
know
what happens
there's
to them.
no way out.
Although they got a fired coach too, and that's probably a good thing. But the Celtics, if the Celtics lose to the Pacers, if the Celtics lose to the Pacers, they jump everybody.
Oh, yeah,
They're the most disappointing thing, because the way this thing has fallen for them, you mentioned the Bucks, the Sixers falling out of the way. Like, we were already looking at the East as like the soft side anyway. The only decent teams in the East are already long gone. This should be a free roll.
Don't you feel that way? Like, arms crossed, like, Celtics, just go do this. Just go do it, because if you don't, there's going to be hell to pay.
I think if the Celtics don't win this thing in like 5, I'm going to be starting to wonder what's going on with these guys. I think the T-Wolves and the Mavericks, for that matter, can at least give the Celtics a little bit of a push.
Absolutely they can.
But I think the Celtics, they're supposed to win those series too. Like, this team, what we thought Jason Tatum was supposed to be, Jaylen Brown's the highest paid player in the NBA. Like, this team is supposed to be a champion. They haven't done it yet. This is the easiest path they could have asked for to it.
They still have Porzingis on the bench waiting to come. There's just too many places where you give them the benefit of the doubt, where they just, if they don't do it, the collapse, we'll talk about Phoenix, just the letdown, and we'll talk about Milwaukee, but they're as healthy as they could be minus Porzingis, and they're winning without him. And they have a formula to do it without him, but they know that what he offers is something they've never had, and hopefully that's enough. But you just get the sense that because the Celtics are the type of team that play to the level, like if you're going to bring it half-assed, they're going to try to half-ass it just a little bit better than you. That's the worst place for the Celtics to be. If I'm Missoula, I'd rather them maybe face a little bit of adversity. I'd like to see them lose a couple of games, God forbid, to make them sweat a little bit, because this is a team, as we sit right now, you feel like the T-Wolves, they could probably scare them just because of the size that they could roll out, but they shouldn't be able to beat them. And that's the closest any team out there, by the numbers, they should run past the Pacers. I mean, it should be a 4-0 sweep, and it shouldn't even be hard.
Per the Vegas odds, the Celtics came into this Eastern Conference playoffs as the favorite. The second favorite was the Milwaukee Bucks, gone. Third favorite, Philadelphia 76ers, gone.
Wow.
Fourth favorite, New York Knicks, gone. They played the fifth favorite, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are now also gone. They are now matched up against the sixth favorite, Indiana Pacers. In the Western Conference, the favorite going into the playoffs, the Denver Nuggets, gone. The second favorite, the Phoenix Suns, gone. The third favorite, OKC Thunder, gone. The fourth favorite, LA Clippers, gone. The fifth favorite, Minnesota Timberwolves, are who they're matched up with now. Or the sixth favorite, Dallas Mavericks. Like, the path was laid out for them. And yet for some reason, I feel like they're not going to win it.
Because they play to the level. It's too easy. Way back, the way that they have gotten to this point, and you consider how easy it should be for them. I mean, this should be a cakewalk. They beat the team that they're about to play in the playoffs. Granted, it's been 7 months ago. They scored 155 points on the Pacers.
Yeah.
I mean,
the most they'd scored since 1959.
That's a team. Now, I walk in on any team I have beaten by 45 points, I ain't too worried about. I'm not going to stay up late watching one more minute of film thinking they might be doing something different, because everything they tried against me back in December, I hung 155 bugger on them. So I'm not all that worried. And that's the thing that terrifies you about the Celtics. They should roll them. And they can change the narrative. Jason Tatum can become a guy that we all think he should be and get away from, the dookiness of Tatum. But he can change that narrative. Brown can change the narrative of you're just a highly paid Batman to be, I'm the lead dog and deserve to be such. Derek White can go make $200 million. Derek White can go make so much money over the next couple of weeks. And you still look at him and go, they might not show up.
Here's the thing that makes me think that the Celtics can easily blow this. I saw them blow it last year. Remember, the Milwaukee Bucks were the 1 seed last year, and the Milwaukee Bucks lost in 5 games to the 8 seed Miami Heat. And then the Celtics were in an absolute war with the 76ers in the second round. They got after Brooklyn,
yes,
who was the team that everybody was like, well, they were the 6th seed, but everybody was like, they're still the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. Got swept right out in the first round. The team that everybody was worried about, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, were the top 2 teams in the East last year, both gone in the first round. Boston survives the war with Philly, and then it was all you got to do is get by the 8 seed Miami Heat,
a far less talented team,
and which basically a one-man team,
mm-hmm.
And you're playing for the title, and they couldn't do that. If they couldn't beat Miami last year, why should we have any confidence that they're like they're going to do it. They're not only are they going to beat the Pacers, but they're going to beat the winner of the T-Wolves Mavs. I don't have any. I don't believe in this team. I don't think you can convince me to believe in this team.
That's why
until I see it happen.
That's why I would want to be a Celtic today. Because you can fix every problem. Everything that we just defined as the issue with the Celtics over the next 14 games, all of that goes away.
If they win.
If you go out and win it, and you don't even have to win it convincingly, because the further away we get away from how you want it, we'll just remember that you won it. But if you will win it, Jason Tatum, you become that. Jaylen Brown, you become that. Celtics, you become this. But if you lose it, you are a footnote. That's all you will be.
Well, remember the year before they played the Warriors in the finals. This was the worst team the Warriors had. This was the Warriors team that nobody thought was going to even have a chance to win a title. Couldn't beat them.
Began the narrative then. You should have beaten them, and you defined yourselves as soft, ill-equipped, and unprepared in big moments.
So if you're not doing that, and then you didn't do it last year when the things opened up for you, if you don't do it this year, you're just not going to do it. And then it begs the question, you've already invested in Jaylen Brown. You can't let that one back. You can't put that that toothpaste back in the tube. Do you pay Jason Tatum like he is a top 5 player in the league?
Sadly, yeah, you have to. You're stuck with these two cats.
Can't you be stuck with one and try and maybe even try and trade him?
2 years when the salary cap bumps, you can trade Brown. But for the next couple of years, you're stuck, man. There's nothing you can do.
I don't want Jason Tatum. If they don't win this year, I don't want Jason Tatum to be the lead dog on my team. I just don't. Because if Jason Tatum can't win this year, Jason Tatum is a loser.
Well, he becomes Carmelo Anthony.
That's exactly what he becomes. Except, Carmelo Anthony was at least fun to watch.
Right. At least we enjoy him.
I don't even like watching Jason Tatum play. And it could be a Celtics bias. I don't like the Celtics. I typically don't cheer for teams or against teams necessarily, unless they're from Boston. And then I just find myself always against them.
Well, I cheer against teams that are good enough and talented enough, but keep stepping in crap. I actively cheer against those teams.
Yeah. Well, that pretty much defines
the
Boston Celtics. All right. We got to give away, we got to register somebody to win ACL tickets. I forgot about that. I just talked about in 2022 when the Celtics lost to the Golden State Warriors 4-2 in the finals. I want to know who they played in, who'd they beat in the Eastern Conference Finals that year.
Quick.
First person to call in and let me know who that was.
You're too good to
You're
listen.
registered
This
to
is
win.
too easy.
I'm making
you
it
are
easy on you.
too good to them.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'll give you a hint. It's another team that we talked about
We
in the last 5 minutes.
about it. Literally, just talked about it. Win some bands, man. Get on the phone.
And then at 9:30, we're gonna give a chance to the brigade. We'll give a chance to the YouTube watchers. We've been struggling with YouTube, so I didn't know if I didn't want to do it on this one because our YouTube computer's been acting wild. So we'll do that at 9:30, assuming the computer works. So at 9:30, hop on that brigade bar, hop on the YouTube, and we'll hook you guys up with an opportunity at 9:30. But yeah, if you don't win here, and Tatum could win down the road.
Yes, he could, but he won't do it the way that he could now. He'll be a bit player in a title.
It's gonna feel like, he just could never do it when it was time for him to do it. He couldn't do it, and you know who else has become that? And it's sad to compare them because it shouldn't feel this way, but Jimmy Butler's become that. But the difference is Jimmy Butler, the expectations of Jimmy Butler were never what they were of Jason Tatum. Jimmy Butler feels like he scratched and clawed and got close with teams that he shouldn't have been able to. Jason Tatum feels like everything's been laid out for him and he keeps bleeping his pants. And to me, that's way worse. It's way worse than looking back at Jimmy Butler's career and saying, he was never able to get over the hump. He was never supposed to.
Right.
He was never even supposed to smell the top of the mountain, much less get up there and battle for it. Jason Tatum is supposed to be like beating his chest as the best American player right now. And he's just not, he doesn't feel that way to me.
And he defines what American players have become. I mean, there's just a need to meet the moment that he has been unable to do in consistent ways. But, when you watch Jason Tatum at his best, there are flashes where he literally is the best player in the league. And that's what's so galling about the Celtics. When you watch the Celtics at their best, they are by far the best player in the team in the league. I mean, it wasn't even close. When the Celtics were at their best back in mid-February, when they were really moving, when Derek White found his pace and things were healthy and Kristaps was running, they were so far ahead of the game that everybody was just looking for next year, and they were already talking about Wemby in the next dynasty. And, as they get there, I think the realization is even when they win, they're going to have to, they're kind of stuck in this gap because we're waiting for all these new superstars to become superstars. And the Celtics can fill this area with a time that I don't think they expected to be able to hold on to. They got a 2 or 3 year window here where they can do something pretty special as everybody's trying to figure out how we're going to play against Wemby and how they're going to figure out the next generation and how they're going to get there. The Celtics could plant a flag and be something that matters. I think back to the Detroit Pistons. When we look back at that era with the Rasheed Wallace teams,
Okay.
There was a niche there where Detroit was the perfect team at the perfect time. Didn't last long.
Didn't have a superstar. They were a team. They were the ultimate team.
And I think the Celtics could get that little void here for the next couple of years where there's enough talent and enough unction that they could fill something. But, man, they're so close, and they're not going to be able to do it.
I don't think so, man.
There's going to be this vacuum filled, and there's going to be this next question of here comes Jason Tatum, the next guy that couldn't do it.
You know what, man? Jason Tatum, from a legacy view, has a real chance to go down as, if he doesn't figure something out real quick, as one of the most overrated players because player efficiency rating, for those who don't know, PER, they call it. John Hollinger created this stat, which is like a great way, kind of a catch-all stat, almost like QBR for NBA players. And I want to say for the longest time, I think it was something like 8 out of 10 years, the MVP of the league has been the highest rated on PER.
Right, that's the paycheck stat.
This year is an exception because Joel Embiid didn't qualify. But the truth is, if Joel Embiid played 80-something or played 70-something games, he would have been the MVP, not Joker. On a per-game basis, Embiid was the best player in the league this year. I started looking back, and I was like, what was peak Jason Tatum in this stat? Jason Tatum this year was 17th in PER. Jason Tatum's never been in the top 10.
No.
He's never been one of the 10, like, statistically, one of the 10 best players in the league. This year, Kristaps Porzingis is number 10 in PER. Jason Tatum's 17th. I'm going to list some players that are ahead of him. I think it's going to shock you. And this isn't just the playoffs, but on the season, Jalen Brunson was better. Anthony Davis was better. 39-year-old LeBron James was better. Kawhi Leonard was better. Domantas Sabonis was better. Victor Wembanyama was better. These are Zion Williamson. These names are going to shock you. Andre Drummond was better in PER. He was a more valuable player, basically, than Jason Tatum. Of Charlotte had a better PER than Jason Tatum.
He's a force. We know he's better than those guys, but I think it does define what we think of Jason Tatum.
Again, at some point you got to do it. Like, we can't just keep thinking this guy's a top player. It's all like, and I, you know what? I fall into this. I fall into it with Justin Herbert because he looks like he should be better, and he's got the tools that I say, yeah, this guy's good. Like, you can't watch him and say he's not good, but then the results, eventually you look at him and go, oh, maybe he's not.
At some point, you're the common denominator. You're the problem.
And Jason Tatum, he doesn't have the excuses that Justin Herbert does. He doesn't have a roster around him that's, void or constantly, the walking wounded. he's the guy. He's supposed to be the guy. He's got help. He just hasn't done it. And if he doesn't do it this year, I think we have to look at him and go, he's a good player. He's not a great player. He's not a great player right now. He until you do it in the playoffs, you're not a great player, especially in the NBA. When it's a lot easier for an NFL player, and like we've talked a lot about Dak. You can say, okay, well, Dak hasn't done it in the playoffs. In the playoffs, you got one chance, and if you lose that game, you're done. You don't get a second chance at it. Typically, in the NBA, with a best of 7, typically the better team is going to win over 7 games. This is the time. If you're that good, you got to show us. We got to stop talking about what that he's there, even though the results haven't shown it yet. Get there.
And they're going to beat the Pacers. Well, they should. And then, they might lose game 1. But the Pacers are going to play a style that's going to allow him to look really good in the wins. I mean, when they win, they get in the games that allow them to get the 155. That's where Tatum really is a highlight machine, who can do the kind of things that look good on film, that make you be the face that the NBA wants him to be. He'll have every opportunity to look good while doing it. It's again, I'll say it. I would rather be a Celtic today than any other team going in here, because it is truly, I know exactly what's at stake. There's not a safety net. I'm not on my way up. If we don't make it, we'll retool. No, this is it.
I have a lot more respect for the guys like Dame Lillard or Jimmy Butler, guys who drag teams that should never even be close, drag them and come up short, than a guy who everything is built for and he never gets the job done. And that's essentially what Jason Tatum is now, until proven otherwise. All right, hour number 4 coming up. Got some fun stuff coming up this hour. Some Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
What's wrong with Rick? He's kind of spacey. That's Rick's identical twin, Scott. He's not used to answering direct. What's going on? Rick asked me to keep it secret, but he asked his twin to cover his shift so he could go to Diamonds Direct to shop. But this is a jewelry store. Exactly. But the prices and selection are so much better at Diamonds Direct. Rick doesn't want the boss to get suspicious, so Scott's here in case the boss sees Rick at Diamonds Direct. But that would mean that the boss is at Diamonds Direct too. Yeah, we have a lot of secrets.
You never know who you'll run into at Diamonds Direct. With unbeatable direct importer prices, the highest quality diamonds, the most sought-after designer rings, the best customer service, the strongest guarantees in the industry, it's just a no-brainer.
You think if Scott had a mustache, he'd look like me?
Go where everyone goes. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy you happiness, but money did help you buy an RV, which means an excuse from working Saturday with your insufferable coworker, Dave. So money is helping you listen to birds chirp instead of Dave chirping about how his toddler is fluent in 3 languages. And it's also why you'll be smelling pine trees in the air, not Dave's tuna melt reheating in a microwave. So save money by bundling your RV or boat insurance with home or auto from Progressive and buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Score a trip for 4 to Orlando's most magical theme park, including airfare and hotel. Register now to win at SanAntonioSportsStar.com.
San Antonio Sports Center.
In the NFL, OTAs begin today, and in Dallas, CeeDee Lamb is expected to be a no-show. He's going into a contract year, and before the start of OTAs today, we expect him to sit and watch. The offseason workouts will go on all week. In the NBA, the Eastern Conference Finals begin. Boston plays host to the Indiana Pacers. Tip will be at 7 o'clock here on 94.1. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Let's freaking go. 9 o'clock. The final hour of the Morning Huddle. Congrats to Eloy, who was the 8:30 winner. Eloy sounds familiar. I think he was registered last week. Now, Minix, because he's a big fat jerk.
He is.
Said, if you registered this week, you can't register next week. But me, I'm a man of the people. If you're the first one to get in through the phones, you're the first one to get it up on the brigade board. If that's like, you're a winner, you're a winner, man. I don't take away from you guys.
Por toda la gente, man.
That's it, man. That's it. I am for the people. That's one thing you'll learn about me, San Antonio, is I am a man of the people. Minix, not so much.
Up in his ivory tower.
Minix is a man of Minix.
Head coaches and whatnot.
Yeah, hanging out. Oh, Wade was like, hey, you gonna be at the country club this weekend, Jason? Yeah. You wanna catch lunch after the front nine? Buy you a burger?
Playoffs?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We're going. You know.
You ever seen The Rock?
You're hitting a 3-wood or a hybrid? Not me, Bubba. You know who I play golf with?
I want to know who.
I'm
interested. Oh,
I don't.
You had me hanging there.
Yeah,
I thought you might drop a name.
What am I?
You're AJ
you think
Hoffman.
I'm an elitist?
You're playing somebody.
You think I'm an elitist? No. I play golf wherever they pair me with.
I was hoping you just like, who I play golf with? Dean Kane, damn it. I was hoping you were going to drop a random star.
When you get a tee time at the Muni, you tee off with whoever else has got that same tee time. All right? That's me, baby.
Welcome to San Antonio. You want to be very careful about the Muni you choose.
Okay.
The walk-ons are vary from different Muni.
Okay.
Some are different. There's some you never want to walk on and join up. Others aren't so bad.
You'll have to give me the rundown.
I don't want to defame anything out, but there are nicknames for our courses around town, and they are aptly earned.
Okay.
So we'll learn you on that.
I'm gonna go play La Cantera with Rob.
So that's pay your fee, get your B on that one.
That's out.
It's a fun course.
That's out of your neighborhood.
Yeah, I can't afford to play there.
What?
There's a Muni right beside it.
Oh, okay.
That's where we all go. We can look at La Cantera from the Muni and say, I was near La Cantera.
That's like
I was there.
There's a course that in San Diego that's right next to Pebble Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Same views, but it's like
half the price,
$80, something like that. It's like, yeah, that's the place to play.
No, that's where we go. We go to the Munis, but,
and you'll probably shoot way better there than you would at Pebble.
Yeah, no, it's not quite.
Chances
as nice.
are good.
Not quite as nice, but views are the same.
But me, I am a man of the people. So you can win. Eloy, congratulations. I didn't even know this is how this worked, but in the NFL, the NBA teams, NFL especially, teams trade down in the draft. Well, now TV networks are getting in on it. The Fox president of Insight and Analytics said that he was basically talking about how Fox shares the rights to the Big Ten with other networks, NBC and CBS. And his network had the 2 top pick. They actually had the 3 top picks in the draft. The way it works. So I guess Fox is the lead dog.
I guess they're the big spender, so they get the first couple.
You get
picks.
the first few picks.
Gotcha.
And the top picks were easy, they said.
Michigan, Ohio State, probably number 1, right?
That was the number 1 draft pick, November 30th. And the way it works is you actually draft a date, and then when the date comes, you get first choice of the
games
that game. Yeah. So like when in one of the weeks where NBC has the first choice, they'll get theirs, and Fox will still likely have a Big Ten game. It'll just not be the first choice. So with their first pick, they took Ohio State, Michigan, November 30th. I should say they took November 30th, which is if Ohio State and Michigan are both 0-9 to that point, they'll still take that
they
game.
wouldn't flex out. They're still going to carry.
They'll still take that game.
Yeah.
The next game they took the next date they took was September 7th.
Now, everybody, when you hear this, settle down.
Texas and Michigan.
Oh, my God.
Now, Texas is not a Big Ten team, but Michigan as the home team, that's the way it's sold. So
Longhorns got a little bit of a tight pants, little wood action just started. It moved when they heard that.
I think that
they're the number 2 pick.
Yeah,
from Fox. I mean,
that's a big game, man.
That's a lot of eyes.
It's a big. And by the way, Texas fan, probably in good shape.
Yeah, you're gonna smoke Michigan.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Third pick came around, and there was some debate over what they were going to use with their third pick. They were trying to decide between November 2nd and October 12th. And October 12th, Ohio State plays Oregon, which was a game that they want. So they have a certain amount of games they have to play at big noon. That's like their thing, is the big noon game. But because that game's at Oregon, it could not be a big noon game because you almost never start West Coast games in the big noon spot, which would have been it'd be a 9 a.m. start there.
Oh God, no.
Nobody wants that. So they said because there were 2 dates, Ohio State out west, it's one of the bigger games, but we just couldn't put it there. The other one was Ohio State going to Penn State. And then there was Oregon going to Michigan. Those were all options. But they were like, well, what we want to do is, because we'd be happy with any of those, they said I think they would have taken Oregon, Ohio State.
Oh, I see what they did. They're happy with the second pick, so they traded away the first pick, knowing that no matter what second, they're going to be just the same.
Yes.
I got you. Okay, well, I'm with you.
So they said, we traded the pick. He said the choice was too difficult. We can trade our picks in the selection process, just like you would trade picks in the NFL draft. And we came to a solution that we think is going to work out for everybody. He said, I won't name the network that we did the deal with because they haven't announced yet what they did with the pick, and it's their news to share. But I can tell you that moving down from the number 3 pick, we then moved up at a later portion of the draft. We ended up with 5 of the top 7 picks in the draft, and we were still able to get that November 2nd date. And the November 2nd date is the the Ohio State Penn State game,
which is a game you'd think would be number one in my draft pick. They need to televise this.
I think it'd be so interesting
because what would be so interesting would be the discussion about the teams that are being the games themselves, because I find it remarkable that the second most important game in the eyes of Fox Television was a non-conference Michigan-Texas game. That's on that date. Their draft pick, their second overall pick, they chose that date, not any other, not Michigan and Penn State, or Ohio State, Penn State, the traditional Big Ten power games that we all kind of look forward to just because we know the history. The second most important game they had in their eyes was drafting a non-conference Texas game. That tells you a lot about the size and what Texas means.
The brand reach, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, how important it is for Texas to be successful in the eyes of a lot of these networks as they put billions into this. And if Texas turns into what Texas was most recently, that's a lot of money on the line.
Oh,
for
no
this.
doubt. And so this article says if the trade was with NBC, and the assumption is that whoever they traded with took that October 12th Ohio State-Oregon game, which, by the way, is now a conference game. Lest we forget. Which, by the way, Oregon and Washington being in the Big Ten is going to kind of throw a wrench into that big noon thing, because those games aren't like the road games aren't going to be noon if they're in Oregon or Ohio State or in Oregon or Washington. But if NBC made that deal, they would have Notre Dame, Stanford, followed by Ohio State, Oregon. They'd have a doubleheader. And if they did it with CBS, that Oregon Ohio State would be at the 3:30 Eastern time slot. So, but it says that Fox will have the choice of using either that November 2nd could be Penn State Ohio State, or it could be Michigan Oregon, depending on what they decide. So they have that date, but that's going to, because then the Penn State Ohio State game can be played at night, which is what everybody's hoping for. So everybody's hoping they do Michigan Oregon, so Penn State Ohio State can be a night game, which it should be, in my opinion.
That the Michigan Oregon conference game, that's going to take a minute to get used.
It is going to take some time to figure out, but yeah, I had no idea that that's how these teams figured out who was going to get which games.
I didn't realize that if you paid the most, you got the first draft pick. You also look at how those non-conference games were scheduled. I wonder how long ago that Michigan-Texas game was scheduled. Was that something
usually
they just threw
5
together?
years out
At least? So if that was scheduled 5 years ago, Texas wasn't going to be part of the SEC. 5 years ago, Texas was a kind of a disappointment, as was Michigan.
But here's the thing. Texas and Michigan both fall into this thing. Is same as Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're good or not good. Like their national brand is so massive. And it's kind of really the biggest difference between Texas and Texas A&M, because like when it comes to in the state, they're both such massive brands. There's so much money attached to both those brands.
But even in the state, it's still 70-30, man.
It is.
It's tough to acknowledge.
But outside
Texas
of the state,
logo travels. It matters.
Outside of this state, there's a huge gap between Texas and Texas A&M. And I spend a week in Oregon almost every year, or Seattle, depending on which part of my wife's family we're visiting. And there's a lot of Longhorn gear wandering around the streets of Seattle, Washington, and Bend, Oregon, which are places you wouldn't expect it. But when we go out to California for Cowboys camp, you're going to see a lot of Longhorn gear.
Oh yeah, it's galling, it's aggravating,
I know.
It was this before I was there, and this is nothing new.
But this is why there are certain brands that it doesn't matter if they're good at football or not. The TV networks want them because they know people are going to either hate watch or love watch, one or the other.
Before, when this game was scheduled, it was for the alumni, and there's a national TV game. Now this thing is conference on conference. It's the Super Big Ten versus the Super SEC and all the things that go into it. What was a big game even became bigger. And the fact that was the second pick by a network that spent $1 billion to get this, and the second pick wasn't even a conference game. I find that remarkable. Hey, Texas, more power to you, man.
A lot bigger brand. Texas is a lot bigger brand than is Penn State, which is, it is what it is. All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, I want to get more into this Trey Lance thing. I want to know, Rob, what you think the future is for Trey Lance. Is this all smoke and mirrors that the Cowboys are throwing up for us? How is this related to Dak? Do they really believe Trey Lance is the dude? We'll find out. It's the Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Mondays and Tuesdays for those people that are on diets are kind of like, you realize where you are and where you're going. Weigh-in days are Mondays, Tuesdays are the actualization days as you're getting out the poison from the weekend and trying to work off those extra calories from your supposed cheat day or whatever that was. There's not a cheat day at the Institute for Functional Health. There's not a day off from a weight loss program at the Institute, because the program that you adopt is a lifestyle. It's not a diet. It is a way to live a healthier life. And a sidebar to that is losing weight. And also a sidebar to that is buying new and better fitting clothes. A sidebar of that is sleeping through the night. A sidebar of that is feeling good more than you don't. That's one of the great benefits of going to the Institute for Functional Health. It's not just about dropping pounds. It's about improving the quality of your life, the functional part of your life. And it's funny how it all goes together. So many of us put on extra pounds and think the way that we lose weight is to cut things out of our lives, to make sure that things that we enjoy aren't near us so that we can drop pounds and be miserable. That's not what life is like with the Institute for Functional Health. Yes, you don't get to do everything you wanted to do, and you don't get to eat everything you ever wanted to eat, but you don't have to give it all up either. See, there's more to losing weight than just the calories that are coming in. Now, they're the most important part, but how you address the caloric intake, what your body is like as you begin the process, where you are physically, it all plays a role, and that's why the IFF has been so successful with people like me and like you. If you've come to a time where you need to lose the weight, either doctors are telling you or you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, there's no better place to go than the Institute for Functional Health. And by the way, you're not going to really understand until you talk to them. I really recommend giving me a call. 210-468-1891. It's a number that'll change your life. 210-468-1891. The website is iffhealth.com. Take the functional health quiz. I promise you it'll open your eyes. Listen to me. If it's time for you to lose weight, if it's time for you to feel better, call Dr. Torres first and find out why he's been so successful. Make the call. 210-468-1891. It'll change your life. And when it does, I want you to thank me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it is a big day for the Dallas Cowboys. The first voluntary OTAs. Is CD going to be there?
We'll talk about that with Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk as she joined us at 5:15. Plus, we'll get you ready for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Attention IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns. The IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-726-4074. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-726-4074. 800-726-4074. 800-726-4074.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
From taking on extra shifts to the years of hard work,
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and life and work experience. Plus, we offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need. Begin your next success soon. Undergraduate classes start June 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you roll a Charmin Ultra Soft on the party, this is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and heavy nice. The cream is always soft, it's our party fun. She's so much chicks feel fun. So what? Everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit. Credit for deciding while stuck in traffic to get a bachelor's degree. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. Students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. Plus, get your application fee waived through May 31st. Flexible online and hybrid classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, baby! 9:20 on the Morning Huddle. You know, next segment, we're going to give away another chance to win, although this one's going to be only for the YouTubers. Only on the Brigade Bar. So make sure you hop on YouTube if you want a chance to win. So, yeah, it's the time, baby. Well, I like you listening on the radio, too, but maybe hit subscribe.
Yeah, you
hit the old thumbs up. We'll let you know when we're on.
Yeah, and it's not a snake pit, the Brigade Bar. Good folks in there.
Are they?
Yeah, every now and then you'll see an interloper coming in there, and they all get after each other. But for the most part, it's a friendly crew there. At the bar.
Probably the scumbags are the ones that came over from Houston or
but
Vegas to listen to me. They're like, hey, man, but we're used in my old show in Houston. Like most of our listeners were scumbags, like the hosts.
Yeah. You gravitate to what you know.
That's it.
Yeah.
Trey Lance.
You mean number 19?
Something we don't know is what is Trey Lance. This is so fascinating to me because I get, and you've heard me use this term a lot, unscratched lottery ticket. And I love that term because there is a real potential aspect to it. Like it could be the big winner or it could be trash. But it's when it's unscratched, you at least have hope. Whereas, if it's been scratched, if it's Zach Wilson, Zach Wilson's all scratched off and this is garbage. And there's nothing worse than that. With Trey Lance, it feels like we still don't know. And part of it is, I use this analogy a lot too when it comes to baseball specifically. A prospect, the day he's the most valuable is the day before he gets called up to the big leagues, when he is just dumping on AAA guys and he's smashing them. And it's like, man, this guy's got all the potential in the world. That's when it's time to trade him because once he gets up there and sees those big league pitchers for the first time, you don't know. He might turn into a pumpkin. He may be what we call a 4A player. He might be the best guy in AAA, but can't hit a lick in the bigs.
4A player.
You need a quad A for him to succeed because he's too good for AAA.
Is that Japan? Is a 4A player
pretty
Japan?
Much.
Okay.
Pretty much. But with Trey Lance, he's in this weird phase where we haven't seen enough of him to know that he sucks. But in the NFL, you typically don't go this long without us finding out.
When I think of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, and the most appropriate terms when it comes to the Triple Crown season, it's Bob Baffert. Bob Baffert walks out there. I assume the horse he's bringing probably pretty good. You know, that guy's seen a couple of things on hooves and knows what horse flesh looks like. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan know what a quarterback looks like. They draft quarterbacks pretty well. Those guys, they went and got Brock Purdy. And that's a shining example of scouting and understanding what exactly is applied and required to be a successful quarterback. Now, I know that Trey is not Brock Purdy in style, but when I look at guys who know talent on the hoof, that I look at that guy and that guy tells me that's a good quarterback. Now, there might be some things in between here and there, but the groundwork is set that if everything works out, this is going to be a good quarterback. That's Trey Lance. The best in the business drafted him high. They went first-round material, went and got this guy. They saw something. I trust those eyes. Now, again, there's a lot between there and success, but at least those guys can judge and tell me that guy can play. That's enough for me right now. Now, that doesn't mean he can play, but, man, he deserves a shot. And I get a sense that the Cowboys are going to play him a lot this preseason. We're going to get pretty early on an idea of at least where this guy is, because right now, when was the last time any of us saw anything with a Trey Lance video of him throwing a ball with a helmet on? It's been 3 years.
It's funny you say those things about John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, because I wonder if Brock Purdy wouldn't have been a hit. That decision to trade the 12th pick to move up to number 3, but also 2 more first-round picks. Now, they ended up being like the 28th or 29th pick, so they weren't like great picks into it, but you basically traded 3 first-rounders for 1.
Pretty much.
That if Brock Purdy doesn't blow up and become what he did, that could have been a franchise murdering decision.
But John Lynch will say, well, of course it wasn't going to blow up. I know what I'm doing. I mean, what if? Yeah, there's a lot of what ifs.
Well, the fact that they spent 3 first-round picks on him and got 8 games, 4 starts out of him over 2 seasons, and then, traded him away to basically just to get him out of there.
I'll tell you
because
what.
they didn't want the controversy. But
on the other side of that, I'm also a firm believer. If you realize there's a problem, get the hell away. You fail fast. And they might have seen something immediately that went, nope,
dude, Rob,
get out of this.
This was my thought, because I looked at when they traded him the Cowboys gave up a 4th-round pick for him. I said, think about this. You spent 3 first-round picks on this guy. You traded him so there would be no quarterback controversy if Mr. Irrelevant 7th-round pick struggled or got hurt. There would be no controversy of whether it should be Trey Lance or Sam Darnold, who had been thrown out. He got thrown out of the Jets, thrown out of the Panthers, and they said, yeah, but we don't want there to be a controversy if it should be him or Trey Lance. Let's get rid of Trey Lance so no one thinks that he should be getting reps over Sam Darnold. That's when I knew there's something fundamentally not right with Trey Lance.
Look at that and go, there's a serious problem that we can't see, which is even worse.
But the Trey Lance story isn't written. And if the Cowboys can get something out of him, it could be you remember when Brett Favre got traded from the Falcons to the Packers, and he basically a throwaway, and he turned into Brett Favre. Now, the likelihood that Trey Lance becomes that is almost none.
But when you look at him, and sadly, I'm trying to picture him in a 49er uniform, and I can't. So all I see him is in that green and yellow, north. Big, strong, active, mobile cannon arm. I mean, when I think of how I define him, he is exactly what you want He's not what Brock Purdy was, a
No.
totally different kind of quarterback, which kind of gives you some reason to go, maybe they just decided the offense that they wanted to run just wasn't appropriate to Trey Lance's skill set. And maybe that was enough. I believe, again, whenever I talk to somebody and all they ever want to bring up is, well, he's getting better every day. He's just, Mozzie and Trey Lance, boy, they're just getting better. That makes me worried. That means where were we when we began, or what do you consider better?
In the words of Drake, started from the bottom. It's hard to be worse than what Trey Lance has been so far through these years. Like, the idea that now, if you were in the same position and Trevor Lawrence was off the board, and like, would you rather have Zach Wilson or Trey Lance? Would you rather have Mac Jones or Trey Lance? The fact that these are discussions is like, that tells you what
the flu or COVID, which one?
What
Pick
Trey
one.
Lance is. But again, the difference being Zach Wilson and Mac Jones are scratched lottery tickets. And because Trey Lance has been hidden, there's still this. Think about, would the Cowboys have traded a 4th-round pick for Zach Wilson last year? No way, because everybody knew, we saw it. We just haven't seen it with Trey Lance. But also, why haven't we seen it?
But every day, AJ, he's getting better. Every day, AJ, he is better than the day before.
And you get it, the physical tools are there, and it makes you go, well, maybe.
I'll tell you what, if that offensive line doesn't firm up, if the draft picks don't work out and there are injuries, you're going to need a quarterback that can get on his horse and go. And Dak ain't that guy. I'll just tell you, if that offensive line doesn't measure up, the center ain't what it was, the rookie doesn't step in, they still got problems at right tackle, and that line becomes the sieve that it could very likely become, considering the defenses they're going to be going up against in the AFC North, you better have a quarterback with some wheels, because they're coming for you.
I wish somebody would be honest. One of my favorite moments was in, I think it was 21, maybe 22. I think it was Kellen Mond. It was either his first year or second year. I'm not sure. But there was a spot where the Vikings had an injury at quarterback, and the assumption was this would be where Kellen Mond had his chance.
Right.
And Mike Zimmer said, that guy's not playing quarterback in the NFL for me. Are you crazy? Like, there is no way I would put that kid out there. Like, he is not. It's career suicide to put him out there.
And it would get him killed too.
Yeah. But I love that sort of honest, because let's face it, they used a 3rd-round pick on him. You don't want to admit that your 3rd-round pick can't play a lick. But Mike Zimmer was like, no, this guy sucks. I've got to go find another quarterback because this guy can't play. I wish the 49ers would have said it, and they never did either. They never admitted that Trey Lance was a bust. They never said, we blew it with this pick. We blew it giving up these multiple draft picks to get him. I want someone to tell me that Trey Lance can't play. But no one seems to be willing to say that either. So I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if we'll ever find out, to be honest. It may just be that Trey Lance just washes out and we never know.
I think we're going to see a little bit of him. Not a little. I think we're going to see a fair amount of him
in the preseason.
I do. I think,
but also the preseason doesn't really tell you anything about football players.
At least we'll see him. At least we'll see him standing tall in the pocket or doing whatever he's supposed to be doing.
All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, we will register the last winner of the day, the last participant of the day in this ACL giveaway, and we will go through the daily lines. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1, San Antonio's Sports Star.
Very rarely do you have absolute access to the very best. We all aspire to get the high dollar best things in all different categories. We all want the supercar and the Lugso thing and that. Right now, you have access to the very best, and it won't cost you a penny. If you would like to get the very best water softener you can get in South Central Texas, Connecticut has a deal for you. You call 656-PURE today, and Connecticut will come out with the very best water softener you can get for South Texas and not charge you a dime for 90 days. They're going to let you find out what so many of us already know, that Connecticut is the best water softener you can have around here. Now, I live on a well. You might live on a pipe. It doesn't matter. The water coming out from our aquifer, it tastes good, makes some good sweet tea and some fine beer, but I'll tell you what, it leaves some stuff in your pipes. And that stuff builds up over time. Before you know it, you're going to be answering the door to a guy with rubber boots on and a big bill. Talk to Kinetico today and let them take care of your home, your pipes, your skin, your plates, everything that goes along with the water. Call Kinetico and they will take care of it. Water treatment and water softening systems, the likes you're not going to find everywhere. Designed and made in the United States. It's the most efficient water softener you can buy, and it works with the water coming out of our wells and aquifers. Call them now, 656 Pure. The Knippas want to take care of you. Let them do so. Call Kinetico today. Get all the details at KineticoSA.com. Sing it while you type it. Get a Kinetico, and you're going to be thanking me later.
San Antonio's Sports Star.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace.
If you've put off replacing windows because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door.
Just text BUY to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year.
That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month.
Text BUY to 200-300 right now. Text the word BUY to 200-300. Don't wait. Text BUY to 200-300.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for my favorite game app. It is Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Heck, I'm just one of 3 million active users. They're the easiest to play. They're the most exciting way to play your daily fantasy sports. And it's unlike other apps. On Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're a fantasy player. You know when it's more. You know when it's less. Up to 100 times your money according to how you play it. $1,000 on basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries. Today is the time to play. You can turn $10 into big money quick. The biggest moments in professional basketball are happening right now, and it's no fun unless you're playing. Go to Prize Picks right now and remember the code ALAMO for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's the code ALAMO. Prize Picks fantasy. You're playing already. Go win. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the code ALAMO, and up to $100 deposit match is coming. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
QC Kinetics provided amazing pain relief for a former professional baseball player, and you have access to the same life-changing treatments as retired Braves pitcher Jose Alvarez.
I put a lot of stress and strain and work on my right arm, but my right elbow took most of the damage with 3 surgeries.
Arthritis developed, and the pain was unbearable.
It wasn't just pain when I was trying to play sports. It was anytime I was moving the right elbow. It was pretty excruciating at times.
That's when Jose discovered QC Kinetics and the regenerative restorative treatments that help the body heal itself, restoring damaged tissue and providing relief with no surgery or downtime. Jose's message to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics?
My elbow is feeling outstanding. Where were you 10 years ago, for crying out loud?
QC Kinetics is right here. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo. This is Jason Minix from The Blitz. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Wrapping it up like prom night, baby. 9:39.
Something coming off
the morning huddle. That's right. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star, AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Prom night.
You know, you got to.
Corsage is on the floor.
It's something. They're only made for one night, aren't they?
That's right.
One-time use. Lots of things
go down too.
Lots of things on prom night are one-night use. Your tux, the limo, and
some of them you get to pay for the next 18 years.
Well, not if you do it right,
Well, yeah.
Rob. Not if you do it right. Let's you know what? Let's go. I keep forgetting to do this early, so let's knock it out and say, hey, we're gonna do the daily lines. Check out what's going on in Vegas.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the daily lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Peter says AJ, the Niners told everyone Lance wasn't the guy when they re-signed Jimmy G to a 1-year contract during Lance's second year. No, that was them saying Lance just wasn't ready.
Right.
They didn't say at the time like, no, he's not our guy. It took longer than that.
It wasn't a ringing endorsement, but
No.
it wasn't them saying no.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. I better I've got to do a giveaway.
We're due.
Yeah, I got to do that before I get into the daily lines. See, I messed up. I was trying not to forget the daily lines, and then I did. All right. This is going to be for the Brigade Bar. This is only on YouTube. Boy, it's a limited crowd watching today too. You got a good chance to win.
Yeah, I got to work.
You know what? I'm going to give you about 15 seconds. I'm going to vamp what we call it in the business. You want to hop on. You want to give yourself a damn good chance to register to win these ACL tickets. You can do that. And ACL Fest Week 2 is where we're sending you 2 3-day wristbands. October 11th through the 13th is week 2 of ACL. Listen to the little morning huddle here. 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, and the Blitz 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, and 5:30. Get qualified. Give yourself a chance to win these wristbands. We're going to give one winner from each show. They'll be chosen at random, and they'll win a pair of those 3-day wristbands. If you don't win, you can always buy them at aclfest.com. And of course, we've talked about the lineup. You know, it's going to be Chris Stapleton, Dua Lipa, Tyler, the Creator, Sturgill Simpson, Khruangbin, Blink 182, Leon Bridges, and Foster the People, so many more. You can go out and see that show. And if you haven't been to ACL before, I think it's like a bucket list kind of thing. You got to do it at least once. Preferably not when it rains and you're stepping in poop.
What was it called?
Dillo dirt.
Dillo dirt.
Dillo dirt. All right. That year that Trevor Lawrence went number 1 overall, I think I mentioned all of the quarterbacks that were taken that draft except for one. I mentioned Trevor Lawrence. I mentioned Zach Wilson. I mentioned Mac Jones. Those guys all went in the first round. One more quarterback went in round 1. There were 5. Who was that 5th quarterback to go in round 1? First person on the brigade board to give it to us, you are registered to win. It is as simple as that. All right. Now, that was a 2021 draft, by the way.
It was.
Let's take a look at these lines around Vegas. And there you go. I see dead people. Already got it done.
Just like that.
Quick. Oh, somebody was Rodney was right behind him. Bum, 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 bum. So I see dead people. Call in, talk to Vic. He'll get you hooked up. You are registered to win. God, look at that. Making it happen for the boys on YouTube. Celtics Pacers tonight. The Boston Celtics are 10-point favorites.
That's a big old number for a conference championship.
Certainly is.
Big number.
But is it the right number?
Yes. It could be bigger. No, that's too big, man.
I think it's too big.
Too big. The Pacers, that knife is sharp. The blade is hot. They're coming in ready to go. I think the Celtics are going to win this thing. I think it's going to be a gentleman's sweep, but 10.5, that's a bigot.
It does feel like a lot, man. I don't like that one bit. The series price. What do you think? What do you think it is? So I'm going to give you, for example, the Timberwolves Mavericks series. The Timberwolves are minus 170 favorites. The Mavericks plus 145 on the comeback. What do you think the Celtics are? How much do you have to bet to win $100?
200?
No. Minus 900.
Oh, man. See,
you have to bet $900 to win $100 if you think the Celtics are going to beat the Pacers. You can get 6-1 on your money if you think the Pacers get the job done.
Yeah, I don't want to back a dump truck up to win $100.
Nobody likes that.
No, that's a sucker. That's too big a number.
Now, how about I make you this offer then? How many games do you think the Pacers can win?
1.
Oh, okay.
It might be tonight.
You think tonight could be the night?
This is if they're good, the most likely would be tonight. The most probable is game 3, but the most likely, tonight they've got the best opportunity. If they were both even, I would say the most probable is game 3 when they go home. But tonight, man, this is a night where I think if I'm the Pacers, man, I act like it's already the second quarter when we get started. We're running. We're going to lose.
That's the way I think of it too.
So does that lend to 10.5? I don't think so, man.
To me, you play loose. You go out there. You take your shots. You get into. You're probably going to get into a track meet, and I always say, boy, I don't want to bet overs in conference championships or the high stakes playoff games. The total in this one is 221.5, which is a big number for this time of year. But I've got no interest in the under because I think that the Pacers are going to go out there chucking. It might work, it might not, but the Pacers know they're not going to beat the Celtics with their defense. So they're just going to go out and give it hell and see what happens.
And the Celtics will let you do what you want to do. They're just going to try to do what you want to do better.
Yep. If you do think the Pacers have a chance to win tonight, plus 330 on the money line. If you think they can get that job done,
I like that.
But I think I like the plus 10. I think that's the way I'd look. See, I think they can hang around. I don't know that they'll get a win in game 1, especially because let's face it, the Pacers just played a 7-game series. Now they've got a lot of depth, but I imagine that tire you out. I'd also say this: if you like the Pacers, you might wait a little bit. Wait till close to tip off when where I got a feeling I know where the money's going to go. The public money is certainly going to be on the Boston Celtics. So you might be able to fish out an extra half or maybe a full point if you wait till a little bit before tip-off time. On the ice, we've got a little time to prepare for hockey because last night we saw Game 7 go to the Edmonton Oilers. So Edmonton will play Dallas. That will be on Thursday. The Eastern Conference Finals will start tomorrow. Florida at the Rangers. So we'll get into that later. On the baseball front, and the Mavericks T-Wolves start tomorrow as well. We'll get to that. On the baseball front, and I mentioned there's no WNBA tonight, but there are games, but
no Caitlin money to play with
Caitlin
tonight?
hate to play with
All right.
tonight. The Aces, the former Silver Stars, are 14-point favorites against Phoenix. If you're into that sort of thing. On the diamond though, John Gray going for the Rangers. He's on the road against Ranger Suarez. The Rangers, a dog. The Phillies, I mentioned yesterday, the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
Minus 170 are those Philadelphia Phillies. And the Astros, fresh off a loss. God,
Late loss.
I can't imagine paying this price on the Astros. Christian Javier goes to the mound tonight to take on Griffin Canning. Astros minus 215. What?
Why?
I don't trust any of these Astros pitchers. I'm so disgusted with it. And I know they've been playing better, but give me a freaking break.
Go pass on this game. I got one name for you. Javier Assad. I'm sorry.
Javier
Assad. 4-0, hot as fire. Braves, Cubs. I'm feeling like it's 1985. Skip Carey on the call.
Cubs are
They're
a
hot,
dog,
man. I like the Cubs and Assad. Let's take this one.
Good old Chuck Morton minus 118. I'll tell you what, and this is Charlie Morton's a good pitcher. Assad's a good pitcher. You know what the total is on this game? See if you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing as the consensus.
We got 1.5, total 10.5.
I'm seeing 11.
I got 10.5.
That is a big, big number. So they think Assad's going to suck. They think Charlie Morton's going to suck. They think there is offense aplenty.
We got a total of a pitching record of 7-1, and they're giving us a 10.5 and 11-point line. What are they saying I'm not? Is the weather bad? Is wind blowing out? What's going on?
I got to look into this. You might be right. Like that doesn't make sense to me with those two pitchers going. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end up being on the under in that game. That's a lot of runs, man. Gavin Stone pitching for the Dodgers. This is one of the shorter lines you're going to get. Dodgers minus 150 tonight against Arizona with Brandon Pfaadt on the mound, who's been kind of up and down. I don't know that he's got a win on the year this season, but he hadn't got a lot of losses either. He's striking guys out and not getting much run support. But yeah, I think I'm going to take a good look at that. I'm also, part of me wants to bet on Minnesota tonight, but also I want them to lose because I want them to keep the streak intact. And Oakland also a minus 132 favorite. They're at minus 8 losses in a row. If somehow Colorado can get the job done, I'll be alive, but I've got to count on Cal Quantrill to make that happen.
Quantrill
doesn't make me feel good. So there's a look at your lines.
Big lines, big numbers tonight.
There are some big numbers tonight. I'm interested to see what the Celtics look like out of the gate. I told you this yesterday, and I believe it to be true. If the Celtics cruise through this series, I think they're going to be really vulnerable in the finals.
Yes.
If this series goes 6 games, I think the Celtics are going to be woken up enough that they're going to go, man, we got to get it together before we play one of these good teams. And if Minnesota and Dallas,
I think it's a knife fight. I think that's going to go 6
be a
or
tough
7,
series
and
too.
The Celtics are going to be sitting twiddling their thumbs, waiting.
But if the Celtics win in 4 or 5 and they're waiting around, I think they're gonna feel overconfident. And I see the West winning this thing. I predicted back early in this thing that the Timberwolves were going to win the title. I think I'm going to stick with it. I wavered after they lost 3 straight to the Nuggets. I'm back in with these guys. I like the Wolves.
As we said, I'm going to stay with those Celtics. I'm going to hope Porzingis gets well and pray for a heart like they're the 10-man.
They have announced no Porzingis in game 1 or game 2.
Yeah, man. They don't need him for another week. He can sit and rest.
I mean, my guess is they don't bring him back until they feel like we're in trouble.
They have to occupy if in fact they play the T-Wolves. If they can't occupy Karl Anthony Towns on defense with Porzingis and get him out of the paint, they are screwed.
I think you're absolutely right. But I think if it gets to be if they get a 2-0 lead in this series, You're not going to see him in game 3. And if it would take them, I think, being like maybe if they got up 3-2, like if they got that close, if the Pacers win 2 games, Porzingis is coming back.
I'm put him on stilts and just put him in a corner. Just shoot from there. You don't have to do anything else.
Yeah, don't get hurt. That's your only job, pal. Don't get hurt. But there you go. That tells you what's going on with the daylight. Billy Parkhill, who's IC Dead People from
Billy,
the chat.
that's who that is.
Good old Billy. I hate to expose you. I don't know if you're using. I don't know if you're using it for a burner account.
Using code names.
Yeah, that's what these guys do. But yeah, he's the winner. So we got 3 that's 6 on the week for those of you mathing it up. 9 more qualifiers this week to go to ACL. I'm excited that we get to send some of you guys to go see that show. Those are valuable tickets, man. I think those wristbands, 2 of them, talking about $700 something bucks.
And that's when they went on sale.
Yeah,
today they're more valuable.
Yeah, and trust me, come October, even more. So it's a good prize. Glad to see you guys. Glad to see you guys getting some. And of course, like I said, glad to see somebody on the Brigade Bar get in this as well. All right,
we did it, man. Show 12.
You're still counting them by 1, huh?
We're going to treat it like a baby. We're going to go up to 24 months.
Okay,
25, and then we'll finally go to months.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see if I last that long. Even
I've got some money on both sides. I'm going to come out fine.
Hedging your
I've
bets.
hedged my bets. I've paid up.
I
learned from you how to lay these numbers.
I don't know what Vic's doing. I don't know what his plan is. Like if he thinks I'm going to make it or not. There's times when he's like, "Yeah, this is good," and there's times I just see him in that room shaking his head like, "What are we doing here, man? What the hell are we doing?" All right. Tune in 2:00. Actually, at 2:30, the Blitz is going to give you more chance to win those ACL tickets. But I'm guessing they'll have something to say at 2:00 too. Won't be as good as what we did. For Rob Thompson, I'm AJ Hoffman. This has been the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
On your ride to work, it's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson, KTFM Floresville.